recording. We got to make sure that's good. Yep. And then audio is on its way. Awesome. Here we go in 3, 2, 1.
What's all this for? I swear, man, if I end up losing more pigs over this, I'll freak the hell out.
Well, it's still cheaper than Whole Foods.
You sawed-off sadistic bastard! You betrayed us! This is the morning stream.
Good morning and welcome to TMS. It's Thursday, March 2nd, 2023. I'm Scott Johnson. That's Brian Ibbett.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
My friend, hello. Hey, it's a new day. It's a new day.
It is a new day. It's a new dawn. It's a new day. It's a new life for me.
It's a brand new morning in America, or whatever Reagan said. Is that what he said? He said, good morning. No, he didn't say good morning, America. He said,
no, he said, well, all he ever said was,
Nancy and my beans.
Well,
Jelly beans.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down that wall.
And take off that weird tattoo on your forehead. Oh, it's a birthmark.
Quit falling asleep in the wine.
Anyway, good to see you all. Here's the deal. Let's get this out of the way early.
Sure.
I had a dream.
Oh.
It was a weird one.
Okay.
Brian was not in it that I know of, but there were so many people in it, you very well could have been. It was a crowd of people.
Okay. A cast of thousands.
It really did feel like that. It was a lot of people. Very cramped as well. We were in like some sort of dormitory waiting for some kind of almost like a class or like a big speech or something, but everybody was like camping all over the floors, and it was just like a big, I don't even know how to describe this, but everybody was crammed in a space and you had whatever you had with you. And for some reason I had 5 Apple Pencils. Which at $119 a piece is a fair amount of money, you know.
Yeah, that's a lot of Apple Pencils. All the new version, all the current.
Yeah, the 2.0 ones. So it'd be like $600 something worth of Apple Pencils. And it's weird because in the dream I didn't even have the iPad Pro with me. It was just these pencils. and they were just really important. Like they were crucial. And so I had them in a place where I thought they were safe and everything was good. And then this dream's just sort of chaotic, and it's like, oh, everyone needs to be in the dormitory thing by 4. We're all mad rush over there. Okay, now we all have to go. And again, none of it makes sense now, but in the dream it did. It felt like it was all important. We had to run around. Sure. And at some point, they're like, all right, you got to get your stuff. We're moving to the next phase. And I went to get my stuff, and all 5 of my Apple Pencils were gone. Someone had taken them, I guess, or had lost them, and I searched. And I remember searching through a box that was full to the brim of Apple Pencils, but they were all the 1.0 ones.
Oh, no.
And they all had weird eraser tips and then little grippy things on the front, like people add to them.
That stupid cap that had to come off. You had to charge it.
Yeah, it was so dumb.
By sticking it at the end of your iPad.
I'm pretty sure Steve Jobs haunted Tim Cook.
Tim Apple. I love it.
I think he haunted him about that stupid design on that first pen.
I'm sure. Well, he should have, because that was
so
horrible.
dumb. Anyway, it was just full of those. I'm digging through it, and some of them are different colors. That made no sense, but there's like a red one and a black one, and all this. And I'm digging toward the bottom, and none of them are my pencils. All 5 are still missing, and then it was just like a repeating of this over and over and over. One of the most frustrating dreams I've ever had.
Yeah.
Until I woke up and went, well, that was stupid. What was the point of that? That made no sense to me.
Okay. Now, see, on the surface, it's like, well, the Apple Pencils, what does that mean? It can't mean anything, right? I can't imagine that there's any sort of like, oh, well, if you dream about Apple Pencils in any sort of format, then it means this. However, I would argue that the dreaming of needing something and losing it and struggling to find it is absolutely something you took into bed with you.
Okay.
It's like it's not. Freud would say, he's not about. What is he?
He's German,
German.
I think, isn't he?
He's not about. I'm gonna jump in like 8 different accents trying to find my German. Jawohl. The problem is not about the Apple Pencil.
No.
Problem.
You got it. You finally got it. You got the
Yeah, I
accent.
got it.
It was good.
The problem is definitely something like you are feeling like you are worried about losing something, worried about losing something and not being able to find it.
Okay, fair enough. Now, if that's true,
I don't believe. See, here's the thing. I don't
Yeah.
believe in this whole like, well, if you dream of spiders, that means that you're going to have a very unlucky day. Or if you dream of spilling tomato sauce in your shoes, then that means that you're worried about a loved one.
Sure,
bullshit.
sure,
Sorry,
sure.
it's bullshit.
yeah, sorry anyone who believes in the tomato shoe thing, but bullshit.
Exactly.
No.
But I do believe that you take your stresses to dreams with you, and those do totally get brought into light.
So I will say this: I have been feeling unorganized lately.
Oh, see,
And
there's
this-
right there. That's
Yeah.
it.
And that's just like, oh, I feel behind on this. I feel behind on that. Where's that thing? I have been redoing a bunch of stuff in the studio here, so that's been adding to this. You can see these bins behind me. I'm slowly like organizing
Yeah.
a bunch
Oh,
of
I know.
crap.
It looks so much cleaner behind you, that desk.
Yeah, so I'm going through all
Yeah.
that. I got a bunch over there. Anyway, I got all this stuff going on, and I think maybe I went into this dream with this sense of like, where's all the things I need versus the things I don't need.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it translated itself into this. And here's the stupid thing: I wake up and my brain goes, "Oh, that was dumb," and I go, "Yeah, I agree, that was dumb."
I like that you have a conversation with your brain. Yeah.
As if they're two
As you
separate
do.
entities.
Yeah.
Sure. And then my first instinct was to look over here and make sure that my Apple Pencil was secure in there, and it was.
So
I
love that.
still
That's
had this
great.
feeling of like, where is it? And there it was. So,
where's my Apple Pencil?
yeah. It's weird, man. I don't get it. I don't get why I have these. I mean, I think you're right, and I think in this case we could boil it down to I took some of that stress to bed, and here's how it manifested.
Yeah, for sure.
I got to get better at
'Cause-
like wiping that whiteboard before I hit the sack.
You
Like-
do. You definitely do. And I don't know how you do it, right? Because you can't say, well, I'm going to completely organize my office in one day so that I have good dreams.
Yeah.
I think what you got to do is just have a list of a plan of how you're going to do it.
Yeah.
And the plan is what relieves the stress.
Gotcha.
I need to do that with TMS Vegas. I have like all these things are like, oh yeah, I need to get this, and I need to make sure we have some of this, and I need to have this printed up, and I need to do this. And that list is just up in here.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be. It needs to be on a piece of
Easy to be on
on
paper.
a piece
sure.
of this right here. It
That's
needs to be
right.
on some
Good
of that.
old-fashioned
You ever
paper.
You ever seen this?
Yeah, I've seen
this?
paper. Oh, paper,
Yeah.
paper. Look at it. Look at it.
Yeah.
Kim. Oh, the famous Kim Coates line. Look at it. It's
That's
paper.
right. The great Kim Coates, everybody. Kim Coates.
I love that guy. All
Anyway.
right. Anyway, that's what happened. Hey, last night I get all these photos from Brian, and it seemed like Brian was having a way better time than me. So tell people what you did.
Yeah, I went to Meow Wolf here in Denver. Currently, just the three cities. You've got Denver, Las Vegas, and the original flavor in Santa Fe, New Mexico. The three Meow Wolves, although they're building two in Texas that probably will be done this year, I think. Which
Oh, wow.
it just blows my mind. Texas would be so far down on the list of places I think would do well with a Meow Wolf. I think Portland, Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
Why there's not one there already? Should've
Well,
been the
I
second
mean,
place it went to.
Austin sounds like a place that they
Well,
would do
Austin,
business.
and believe it or not, Austin is not one of the two
Oh,
places
really?
in Texas getting, yeah.
Okay, see, that surprises me. I was sure you were going to tell me it was Austin, or maybe even both of them in Austin or something, because Austin
No,
does strike
no.
me as the artistic
Austin
place to
for
do it.
sure would be, yeah, let's see here. See if I can find a list of the north of Dallas, Fort Worth International Airport.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't see, hey, love you folks in Texas, but I just don't see a big Dallas art crowd. Maybe prove me wrong. Totally prove me wrong. Then there's another one in Houston, Texas, opening in 2024. But Seattle, Portland, Oregon, Burlington, Vermont. I mean, I'm thinking of all these places that are known for being super artsy.
Park City,
and-
Utah, get it in here.
Park City, Utah would be a great one. Yeah.
Or Salt Lake, I don't care. Just bring
Yeah.
it. We're an artistic bunch in there. Just don't go south of the mountain. Then you're going to run into all the apple pies and the weirdos. Don't do that.
All right. What is this weird art installation?
I
thing
don't
you're
understand.
taking
I
me
believe
to?
Satan might be behind this art installation. Don't go there.
So every month, they do this thing at Meow Wolf called Adultiverse, and it's
Ooh.
one night a month. It's the Adultiverse of Madness, is what it is.
Yeah.
And it's an adults only I'm looking it up to see if they do it at all the locations.
Orgy.
But it's an
Oh.
adult-only.
Not orgy? Okay, no orgy.
It's not orgy.
Okay,
No, sorry.
that's a shame. It's a real shame.
It's an adults-only time at Meow Wolf, so no kids, and it also means they've got alcohol stations, like places where you can buy, like little, like open bars that you see at most wedding venues and ballrooms and stuff like
like
that.
the guy at our game, the Vegas game room show.
The Vegas
thing.
game room, right,
Okay.
where he just has a table with like 5 drinks he can make, couple beers, couple ciders, etc.
Gotcha.
And by open bar, I'm definitely not saying that it's like, oh, it's you just walk up and you get the alcohol for free. You still have to pay for it.
Sure.
And since I'm on muscle relaxants, I took it kind of easy last night. I took it very easy last night.
Yeah, smart move.
But it's God, it's such a different vibe. They also have a theme for every adultiverse. So last night it was mystics and cryptids, and you could dress up as your favorite mystic or cryptid. Tina and I got our likenesses drawn as cryptids. I have Jersey Devil horns. I need to scan it and post it somewhere where people can see it.
That's cool.
Tina had Mothman antenna, but they also had like the local Bigfoot kind of jokey Bigfoot hunters group had a table there, and they were selling their wares and talking to you about Bigfoot.
Yeah.
And they had a cryptid panel of people dressed up as cryptids. We didn't see it. We just saw the table and saw the times. We're like, oh yeah, we're not going to be here for that.
Yeah.
But next month, April 5th, is Emoverse.
Mm-hmm.
So bring your favorite sadness and show up as as your favorite emo character.
Yeah.
or
Lead singer of The
reality.
Cure, whatever you need. It's fine.
That's right. Exactly.
Sure.
Hello, The Cure.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, so it's a really, really cool event, and it's got such a different vibe than the typical Meow Wolf.
It sounds awesome. I didn't know that was even a thing.
It is.
And we were saying pre-show, and I'll say it again, it feels like a really great way to make that place returnable, because once you see
Yes.
it, if it's just the thing, once you see it, you're like, well, I've seen it.
Yeah.
And I guess that's it. But if they can theme around, and whether it's the adult night or anything else, it's like, oh yeah, there's a reason to go back and throw down that money and keep going.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep, that's exactly right. Because it's otherwise it's like, well, Natural History Museum. I've seen it. Don't need to go back. Or you take people when they come to town. But this gives you another reason. Also, there's a huge in each of the Meow Wolves. There's a huge music venue.
Yeah.
And Johnny JAWNY is coming to the Denver one on March 14th. He's awesome. They do a bingo thing one night, which is, I'm sure, as weird.
You should
as
do
it gets.
bingo. You should go to bingo, dude.
I actually want to go April 14th. Is a cover band called Fleet Mac Wood.
Oh, Lord. All right.
And
Sounds like a cover band to me.
it does. Not a tribute, but a rave and AV show that reworks the classic rock sound of the Mac into a spectrum of electronic genres.
I'm all in. This sounds great.
I'm all into.
That
I
sounds
think
wonderful.
I need to go see Fleet Mac Wood.
Yeah, Fleet Macwood. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Real quick here, you were talking about cryptids.
Yeah.
I would like
yeah.
to share my favorite. My favorite cryptid is this thing called the Ninjin. This is a Japanese folklore thing,
Okay.
and I'm going to share with you. Hold on.
How's it? Minjin? Minjin?
N-I-N-G-E-N. So
Ninja,
ninja,
okay,
like
yep.
ninja, but gen. Like a generation of ninjas, really. This is what it looks like, and you have to see this. So I'm putting it in Discord
Yep.
here. Hold on, and then Chad, I'll show it to you as well.
Oh, geez, Louise.
Yeah, look at this
That's
thing.
that's like a real.
Yeah, this is an actual.
I mean,
well,
obviously not a real thing, but that is like a many people believe that this thing kind of exists.
This
somewhere.
existed, yes. So it's supposed to be some sort of aquatic humanoid whale-like creature that walks around on 2 feet. And
Wow.
I guess this is relatively modern. It was like 05 when people say they first spotted it, and then since then it's like gained a bunch of popularity. So this is like early 2000s. Anyway, look at that thing. I mean, that looks like a Pokemon I'd love to capture. Look at that guy.
I mean, how does it pee out of its face?
I think
Is
there's
it,
like a big old cochlea-looking sack in the back where he just fires everything out of there.
Okay, fires everything out. Jeez.
Yeah, just shoots it out there. Anyway, pretty cool, huh? I like
Great.
that.
It's really good. Yeah, I like it. It's very
Yeah.
cool. I want to design and make a a 3D print of one of those things.
I would support your efforts in doing that. All right, it is Red Fraggle time. That is the pseudonym by which Amy Robinson goes by. She comes on the show and talks about reading stuff, and today's no different, so let's just dive in. Hey, look who it is. It's Amy. She's here to teach us what to read and maybe how to read. I don't know. Yeah, it's a you. It's a Amy. Amy, how are you?
It's me. I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
Oh, doing all right. You sound
Doing
fantastic.
all right.
Your mic is like on fleek today. You sound great.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Even
Yeah.
though-
I'm glad to hear that because I've been having sound issues abounding, and so I made sure all my drivers were updated, and I rebooted and did all the things early this morning.
I'll tell you what they
so-
need to do when Microsoft finally publishes Windows 12. It should be called Windows 12 : We finally figured our audio shit out. That's how it should be.
Yes.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
it's so weird how it resets all the
Amen to
time. You
that.
do an update and you're like, go back and reset all your hoo-ha.
Oh, every time, and literally, because the way I do the clips is I use Audacity.
Yeah.
And I freaking have to go into my sound settings and enable the thing that lets me capture computer audio. I have to go re-enable that every single week.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez.
Yeah.
I'm like, stop disabling it.
It's
I
the-
want it.
It's the devil's plaything. It's Satan's playground.
Yeah.
I hate it.
It really
bogus.
is.
It's bogus. All right. Well,
Bogus.
it's great to have you here. I know that we've got something pretty special lined up because you sent me some extra stuff, which I will share with the chat as we go. But how do you want to
cool.
how do you want to present this?
Did well. Okay, so we had an email that we didn't get to last week. Should I read that one? This
Oh yeah,
week?
go ahead, please. Do you have
yeah.
it handy there with you?
I do.
Okay.
I do have it handy. So this was from our friend Nicole Ackerman, Dr.
Oh,
Nikki.
Ah,
Nikki
Dr.
Ackermans,
Nikki.
yeah.
She's taking sheep and mixing them with dogs. We're gonna end up with
right.
shogs at one point. I'm so excited.
We're gonna end up with sheepdogs. Wait, we already have those.
Oh shoot! Well, someone let her know.
somebody.
Anyway.
She might be doing all this work for nothing.
Well, and like the brain damage of woodpeckers and stuff like that. Like
Oh,
she does
wow.
really interesting.
I keep
Work.
saying there needs to be a helmet law.
Yeah,
But
right.
Nobody
Oh,
listens. To
No
me
one listens,
with
Brian.
those
You
darn
can't force
woodpeckers.
people to do. You've got to hope that they have common sense and wear those helmets. You know.
I try.
Yeah,
I
right.
try.
Hold on a second. Is
know.
it that the woodpeckers are pecking so hard on the wood that's hurting their brain?
Yeah.
Well, that's what she's trying to find out.
Oh,
That's
wild.
that's part of what she's studying is
They
because
must-
she started
must
it with
start-
sheep, right?
Yeah.
They must start with some sort of brain damage because why would you start whacking your head against a tree?
They
Right.
come.
Like
they
before-
come to it with brain damage. That's why they do
Which
it.
comes first? The
That's an interesting question. It's like
Yeah.
how much brain damage do you have before?
Yeah,
Is
I'd love
there-
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
we better establish a ground platform for where the where the damage starts before.
I've seen.
Papa Woodpecker's up
yeah.
there with his wing, just like slamming the kid's head, and like, here, you got to toughen up, Junior.
Yeah, I don't.
Cowboy up.
I don't trust those things. Woodpeckers are bastards. Anyway, well, that's good.
All right.
That's super
okay,
fun.
so to her email,
Yeah.
Dear Amy, Brian, and Scott, I'm not sure I'm allowed to recommend books through Amy's allowed. Like what?
Allowed.
Since when does anybody do anything they're allowed to do on this show?
Especially here.
Um,
yeah.
Not sure I'm allowed to recommend books through Amy's segment, but here's me trying. You guys have been talking about what happens at the hospital when you lose a body part. I could explain, but why not make this an educational moment? The book, The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks, is an awesome investigative journalism style book about the woman that Hella calls Hella. Hella cells come from. So HELA, like,
Hella.
and the H and the E. I'm sorry, the H and the L are capitalized. So
Oh.
Hella
Oh,
Hella,
cells come
okay.
from.
not Hella from like Thor.
Or yeah, no, I'm like, okay, like I need a dictionary just for
No
an email
kidding.
from Nikki because like she knows so much more about this stuff than I do. It's amazing.
That
Anyway.
would make, you know what? If you found one, that'd make you hella smart. Anyway, continue. Oh gosh.
All right.
Anyway, tip your
It has
wafers.
a whole chapter about the legal gray zone around body parts once they're no longer attached to you. Happy reading, Nikki.
Oh my
So-
lord.
Wow.
Okay.
Thank you, Nikki. That's interesting, and I've never read it, so you got me. I'll
Well, didn't
do it.
Yeah.
we also have we had a whole other, was it with Bobby or somebody about what with the laws pertaining to whether you own your body parts after they've been taken off. Like if someone takes off your foot, do you get to keep it at the doctor, or is that now
it's now
the property
medical
of the state?
Waste that belongs to the hospital.
Right. That's interesting. Okay, well, this is good to hear from her on this point.
Oh, and Dreadnecks in the chat says he loves that book. She is responsible for so many cells that we do research on. So hey,
that's
worth
cool.
checking out, I guess.
And she invented the bookcase that you can get at IKEA.
Her and Billy.
It sounds exactly right.
That's true. Yeah, Billy's the bookcase. She's the cubbyhole system is the lax.
Sure.
Kallax.
Kallax.
Yes,
Kallax.
I have my office is full of Kallax bookshelves.
Yeah.
I love them. Love them.
Oh, you know what you need? Oh, I'll tell you off air. Well, I'll tell you at some point. But they're called lax racks.
Yeah.
And if you store board games in them, which is a great use for those Kallax shelves, these things make it so that you don't need to like lift up all of the games and possibly turn them on their sides and that sort of thing as you pull out the game you want that's on the bottom. They're little dowels that stick to the sides of the cubbies, and then you can just pull out the game you want. No other thing necessary.
I do need
cool.
that.
Yeah.
I backed those guys on Kickstarter, and I just got mine, and they are fantastic. I can't wait to start plopping them in.
I need to get some of this business. This is partly what I'm trying to reorganize is things like this. This would be perfect for me. Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I'm going to use it not for board games, but for all my, like the DJ equipment that I used to do the show. That's all shoved in this cubby right here to my right. And
when you were spinning the hits back then.
That's right. It's called Laxrax, LAXRAX is the name of it.
Very nice.
I love this idea. Well, awesome.
Anyway,
okay, so and real quick, Scott, I have a possible other wrinkle to add that might provide some insight into your dream.
Oh, give it.
Ooh.
Let's hear it.
You tweeted,
Yeah.
I think either this morning or yesterday. I saw it this morning.
Yeah.
But you tweeted that it's been a couple days since you've drawn anything.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That could be. I wondered about that, and I'm glad you brought that up because I've had this like when I go 2-3 days without drawing anything, whether it's digital or paper or whatever, I always just feel kind of bad. Like, why am I not doing it? Like, there's a creative part of me that isn't like pumping out something, and it just doesn't feel right. And so that's a good point. Maybe I was just like feeling pencil-y, you know?
Yep. Like your brain misses your Apple Pencil.
Yeah, so. That's a fair point.
Yeah.
All right, see, look, we've done it. We've dissected
Apple Pencil Phantom Syndrome.
There you go.
Pencil Syndrome.
I had that happen with paper this week. I was drawing something for I don't know what, and I tried to pinch and zoom. It was so embarrassing. I did. I went to the paper with my finger and went, "Oh no, you can't do that." And no one was there to see me, but I was embarrassed anyway. It was so dumb. Yeah. Anyway, all right.
Awesome.
I do that all the time. It's really funny.
Sure.
Okay, so let's move on into today's book. The only introduction I have for the clip I give you is that this is from another of the suggestions that I got from all the folks that is that like the other half of the cryptid you posted?
Sorry, that's
earlier?
the cryptid Nickelodeon. Brian, here I'll put a new. I just found this.
Give me a new cryptid.
So the new cryptid. This is the hot new cryptid.
Please, I hope it's from the back. I hope it's the one you sent me.
No, I wish.
Oh, jeez.
So this is what they think it would realistically look like in the water, and all the other drawings I can find are this elongated sort of salamander, blind salamander.
I like
thing.
that this one has arms but no legs. The other one is just legs and a head.
Oh, it's legs for days. That guy for sure.
Yeah.
But then you got a little man for scale. See up there in the corner.
Oh, is that what that little scuba diver going?
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. Oh shit.
Yeah.
I was here for a whale. What the hell is this?
Awfully sweary today. I apologize for being so sweary today.
We're gonna have look. The FCC will be in contact with you. You'll be in trouble. Don't worry about it.
Nice, excellent.
Jeez,
excellent.
Brian.
Sorry.
No,
All right.
sure.
Sorry. So where were we? Clip. Oh yeah, clip. So
Clip,
I should.
yes. So this came from the one of the list of suggestions I got from the survey that people very kindly filled out for me last year, and so somebody suggested a cookbook. So this is my suggestion for that.
Nice. Here we go.
We saved up for 7 months and navigated a labyrinthine reservation system to secure a table. When the day finally arrived, we went to the bank and exchanged the shoebox of quarters and dollar bills for 2 crisp $100 bills and 2 20s, dressed up in our nicest outfits, and zoomed over in his classic convertible VW Beetle. ready to eat. The meal, of course, was spectacular. We ate friseo lardon, halibut in broth, and guinea hen with tiny chanterelle mushrooms. I'd never eaten any of those things before. Dessert was chocolate souffle. When the server brought it to us, she showed me how to poke a hole in the top with my dessert spoon and then pour in the accompanying raspberry sauce. She watched me take my first bite, and I ecstatically told her it tasted like a warm chocolate cloud. The only thing, in fact, that I could imagine might improve the experience was a glass of cold milk. What I didn't know, because I was inexperienced in the ways of fancy food, was that for many gourmands, the thought of consuming milk after breakfast is childish at best, revolting at worst. But I was naive, though I still contend that there's nothing like a glass of cold milk with a warm brownie at any time of day or night. And in that naivete, she saw sweetness. The server returned a few minutes later with a glass of cold milk and 2 glasses of dessert wine, the refined accompaniment to our souffle. And so began my professional culinary education.
Oh, wow. She's making me hungry. Also,
No.
warm chocolate cloud was my wrestling name for about 5 years. Yeah, just a
I
good
mean,
time.
brownies, chocolate milk, brownies, chocolate chip cookies. I think with milk any day, any time of day, I'm with her.
I agree.
Right.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
sounds
Thanks for making me
fantastic.
so damn.
Sounds good right now. Let's do it. All right. So tell me about. So you sent me a bunch of illustrations as well. These are amazing. These are so
Yeah.
cool. Is this all
Yeah.
in this book? It's like
This is all in this book. This book is Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat by
yeah.
Samin Nosrat. And yeah, it's fantastic. And yes, if that sounds familiar, this is the same person who did the Netflix short series called of the same name, Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat. Definitely recommend both the book and the series. Samin she is obviously very well versed in all things food. She trained at Chez Panisse, which is, if those of you who know, I didn't know, I'd never heard of it before, but apparently it's like super famous, fancy restaurant. And she's very, very knowledgeable about food, but she makes it accessible. Like you hear, she's like, oh, even though I'm, a big fancy chef now, I still contend there's nothing better than a brownie and milk, like,
sure.
Yeah.
so,
Not super highfalutin. She's
Yeah.
able to
like
connect
that.
with the
The little people like us,
Exactly.
Brian.
little people like us.
Yeah,
exactly.
the low folk who don't know anything about any of this. Yeah.
Yeah, and the book is great. These it is illustrated. Shoot, I had it up and now I can't find it. Hold
They're
on,
the most
give me a second.
charming little combination of ink and watercolor sort of
Really?
illustrations. They're wonderful.
Cool.
Freaking
Yeah,
love
they're
them.
beautiful. And so the art is by Wendi McNaughton.
Mhm.
But then the book is completely written by Samin, and it's just really great. It teaches you about the science of food and like why all these things are important, why salt, fat, acid, and heat, why those things are important to the foods you eat, how they affect the flavors and the textures, and in a but in an accessible way. It's all fascinating and really interesting, even if you're not at all a cook, because I am not, like, I'm if you take like Scott and Kim, like I am the Scott of my house, like, and Chuck is the Kim, so like I can throw some things together, but mostly, like, if he's gone, if it's just me in the house, I'm eating like a fried egg sandwich or something.
Yep.
Like I'm
I was
eating,
just
you know
gonna
what I mean?
say,
Like,
go to the egg.
yeah.
The egg will always solve your problem. I'm telling you. That's the way
Yeah.
to do it when you're me. And also, condolences for being the me in the relationship, because that's a real bummer.
I'll send you a Doggerito recipe.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm looking at this looks like one you'd at least want to get the Kindle version of, so you can see the illustrations, because I'm looking at the hardback version on Amazon and looking at the what's inside and seeing like the different salt structures.
Yeah.
I mean, this is so cool. I love listening to stuff like this, but I feel like watching this or reading it and seeing these illustrations
Yeah.
is even better.
Did we give him the full
Oh,
name? We
for
did,
sure.
right? Did we give him the full name?
Yes.
Salt,
it's
fat,
salt,
acid,
fat,
heat.
acid,
There it
heat
is. Salt,
by-
fat, acid, heat, and it is the
Yeah,
same
or
name as the
Mastering
show.
the Elements of Good Cooking is the additional, the subtitle, I guess.
And I know Kim Kim watched that series that you mentioned on Netflix, Hardcore. She loved it. So this might be a
Yeah.
good gift idea for me to get her. I'm usually bad.
It
at
would
this.
be, because she would definitely enjoy reading this book. It's it's quick to read, but it's also, like I say, it gives you her story, but there's also recipes in there. I mean, it's a cookbook, but it's not just it reads well, and it gives you just such a rich understanding of, you think of the word fat, and it's like, oh yeah, there's fat in our food, and yes, that's what kind of gives it the flavor. Most people kind of know that, but what are the different types of fats, and how do they interact with your food, and why is it important? Why is it important to not just like cut out all the fat entirely, and all that kind of stuff? Like,
sure.
it's great. I really, really enjoy it, and I love watching cooking stuff. It's never been a thing I've been super interested in. I get creative in other ways, but like, yeah, I find this stuff endlessly fascinating, the science of food.
I am literally, nobody tell Kim. She's like, she can't hear me. I'm buying this hard book for her today. She's gonna love this. She'll be stoked because she loves this kind of crap, and I don't know why. I'm very bad at like paying attention when someone hints at things Kim would like to do. So like they'll say, your wife sure likes that thing, and I go, yeah, she sure does. Anyway, let's we keep moving, and then I forget. So today,
I'm even worse. I say, oh, that'd be a really good gift idea for them, and then I promptly forget.
And then you forget. Yeah, that's a little bit how I feel about it. So today, no, you're not getting me today. Bad memory. I'm doing it now. All right, it's ordered.
There you go.
It's coming here.
Yeah,
today
see,
at 2
that's
o'clock.
a great way to do it. I have a Google Keep list of things like that. Like, and I do it for myself also, because I don't know if you guys do this. It comes around, the holidays come around, and my mom and all my relatives and stuff, they call me. They go, "What do you want for Christmas?" I'm like, I don't freaking know. Like, I like everything. I've spent the whole year going, "Ooh, I want that, I want that, I want that," and then people ask me, and I'm like, nothing. I don't know. So I keep a list, in Google Keep, where stuff to say I want for Christmas. Nice. And but then I keep one for other people also. Like, I have on my list right now, I try to remember, my niece wants what's on there, it says my niece wants a Bougie picnic basket.
A Bougie what even is that? I don't even know what that is.
It's like, there's like the picnic baskets that have the little hinged lids on top.
It opens up like our
okay.
old art boxes, Scott, where like a little layer of like, all right, here's all your silverware, and here's a thing for condiments, and a little napkin thing.
Oh, I didn't realize that was even a thing you could get. That's interesting. Oh, I used to love having that for arts. Like, it basically is a fishing tackle box, but I love those things.
But the fact like it would open up, two little sides would open up, and you'd have all your pencils and keep things organized.
Miss doing that.
A wad of that flexible eraser garbage that
what did we call it?
It was blacker and blacker and blacker.
It was called
Need eraser?
Needed erasers. That's what it was.
Need erasers.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
With a KNEAD. Oh man. That's the memories right there.
Yeah, right there. Takes me back.
Holy shit. Anyway, well, that's great. This book sounds great. I'm now going to see it for myself today at 2 o'clock. I guess it gets here. So that was nice.
Wow. Look at that. Did you do hardcover? Or
I did hardcover, and there's I guess it's at our local Amazon distribution thing. So it'll be here today with no extra charge.
Right on.
Thanks,
you never
Jeff
did
Bezos.
get the package I sent you, did you? Never came.
No. You know what?
Damn
no, I never did get here. Wait, did it?
No.
Not the hats. I got the hats.
No, the hats you got. Yeah, the bowl. It never got there.
Did you ever? Do you have tracking? Do we know where it is?
So yeah, the tracking says that the post office never got it, which is bullshit, because I put it in my mailbox and my mail carrier picked it up, but they just didn't scan it in, so it's just gone.
Liars!
Liars!
That sucks, because that's a thing you handmade, and it's not like you can just reproduce that like nothing. That's lame.
Yeah.
Lame.
Oh well. Well, I'll make you something else, and it'll be better. That's all.
Claire says
just how it has to be.
Claire doesn't think there are any local bookstores in Salt Lake City. There are a ton of them, but I'm lazy, and I want it brought to me. Okay.
If he could DoorDash a book from the local bookstore, then he totally would.
Yeah, but I'm a lazy bum, and that's how it works. So I do support them, Claire, when I get a chance. I'm not going today. All right.
I absolutely support them for my comic books and my graphic novels, and
yeah, I go in there all the time. We love our local bookstores, but in this case, no. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, while she all caps yells at me in the chat, I want to thank Amy for hanging out with us. This is a great recommendation today. And if you've got suggestions, emails, thoughts, comments, or Nikki, if you have any sort of additional stuff you want to say to us, keep those emails coming because we're happy to pass them on. And let Amy know what's up. She's also very active on our Discord, so join us over there at frogpants.com/Discord. And you can, there's a whole read this section in there.
Yeah, and I started, in case anybody wants to, if anybody wants to go in there and, just discuss different books, like almost like you would do at a book club or something, but on Discord. I started a thread for the Encyclopedia of Fairies, which is the book I talked about last week, because I loved it and I was like, I want to talk about it. But if you've got any books like that you want to talk about, feel free, start a thread in there and go to town.
Nice.
Great idea. And I put links to both of the books we talked about today, the Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks and Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat on quicktms.li.
Very nice. Amy, it's always good having you on. Red Fraggle 3, wherever you find her. Have a fantastic week, and we'll see you next time.
You too. Bye.
Bye now. Oh, I'm in the wrong place to kill the call. Hold on.
I get extra.
She's out of here now. All right. I knew we'd get there.
That was the best. Yes.
I knew we'd get there. All right, you guys. We're here to inform. I mean, where else are you going to get your news, your late breaking news? It is the news, and it's brought to you by
our friends at That Story Show podcast. They're sponsoring a comedy story contest where you can win $50, 50 hard-earned bucks. I can't remember who's on the $50 bill. Is it? It's the guy with a mustache. Was it Rutherford B. Hayes? No, who's on the?
No, the $500 bill may have been. Who was that? They discontinued it in '69, but the 50 is Grant.
Grant is on the 50.
I think so, because that's how much it costs to get a box of wine, and he was a drunk guy. I don't know.
Okay, all right. Anyway, $50 every week. Visit thatstoryshow.com and submit your real life story today.
Excellent. Here's your first story of the news today.
Yep.
By the way, I found out, I was going through that weird history stuff yesterday.
Yeah.
I found out that we did not invent the automobile. We thought we did. Like a lot of us just think we did.
Was it Henry Ford?
It wasn't Henry Ford.
He invented the assembly line process of making automobiles, right?
He
that
did.
Was really what he did. Yeah.
He did, but like a lot of times, look, I love my country, but here in America, sometimes we co-opt people's stuff.
Sure.
Sure. What we do. It's the Benz, B-E-N-Z, which was in Europe. It was German, and I don't know if it's tied to Mercedes-Benz. I don't know. I didn't look all that deep, but that car is in a museum, and you can see it, and it was the very first car, and it beats it by some years, and
wow.
we take credit for it. It's kind of like how everyone thinks Philo Farnsworth, who grew up out here in Beaver, Utah, was the creator, the inventor of the television. And he technically in the States he was, but it was already done and developed somewhere else. So that's what we like to do here.
He invented television programming, without which the television would be useless.
That's right. He did shadow puppetry.
No, you saw that commercial during the Super Bowl with Dave Grohl thanking Canada for all their inventions, all the things that they invented.
Oh no, I missed that one. I think.
Oh, that was maybe not the funniest commercial, although it really did have its funny moments, but it was one of the best commercials. It's like, oh wow, Canada invented that. That came from Canada. It blew my mind. Like he listed off 14 things that Canada invented, and I was like, wow, okay, I did not realize so many of these things came from Canada.
I had no idea. I should go look that up. I didn't see it. I did.
Look it up,
I saw a cool thing with him yesterday. He just showed up at a homeless mission in LA, and he has a huge smoker barbecue thing that's like tied to a trailer, and then like a bunch of trucks and a handful of friends. He just shows up, and for the next 16 hours just does barbecue for homeless people and then leaves.
Wow.
And he didn't say anything. He's just like, hey, we'd love to help today. Can we do that? And they're like, yep. He didn't say anything to anybody. There weren't any press around. It's just Dave Grohl doing a nice thing. And I freaking thought that was awesome. He's a good guy.
It's like Guy Fieri without all of the human bumper stickers and accessories.
Yeah. It's like he can get through an airport security thing without having to take everything off. So that's good.
Exactly.
Anyway, Dave Grohl, he's a national treasure.
He is a national treasure.
So future, this has nothing to do with anything except Ford. That's what made me think of it.
Gotcha. Okay.
Future Ford motor cars, that is, could repossess themselves and drive away if you miss your payments. Yep.
I love this. Oh, God.
This is the way of the future. Let's see. Average car payments have been rising for a while, although auto loan delinquency rates have been down since the height of the pandemic. Ford applied for a patent to make the repossession process go smoother. Right to the bank, that is. The patent document was submitted to the United States Patent Office in August 2021, but was formally published February 23rd, just here recently, last couple of days.
Yeah. It's
titled Systems and Methods to Repossess a Vehicle, unquote. It describes several ways to make the life of somebody who has missed several car payments harder. This also reminds me of a TikTok channel I follow where a guy is a repossessor truck driver guy. Uh-huh. And his entire job is to pull up to a parked car somewhere in a parking lot that's known to be delinquent in their payments.
Yeah.
They have these crazy tractor tool things in the back of their truck to take a car no matter where it is or how it's parked.
Really? Okay.
And it's wild because it's like a GoPro on the back of this hitch, and he speeds it up so it's faster. But you see him like, as usually with music, he'll pull up to a car and doesn't even have to get out. This thing goes underneath and grabs it in a certain way.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
And then it pulls away, and then you always see somebody in the store running out, swinging their fist. Damn it, it's my car. It's an amazing channel. I wish I knew the name.
Oh, that's fantastic. Wow.
Yeah, it's really good.
It feels almost like this is less repossession and just more possession.
Just possession, yeah.
Like it's the car is possessed and
I would be
taking itself back to the dealership.
I would be skeptical. I don't know, dude. Like, let's say there are a lot of car techs now that are kind of, when they foul up, we hear about them. If a Tesla's autopilot thing screws up and veers into a wall, we hear about it.
Yeah. Yeah,
well, what's to stop this thing from you being out there? There's a glitch in the system. You're driving your hot date downtown for the play, and then suddenly the car goes, taking control. And goes the other way and parks at a freaking repo center. Like, what the frick? I don't want that.
You've got your baby in the back. You're getting out of the car to go get in the front seat, and then all of a sudden it says, "Nope, you're delinquent," and starts driving off with your baby inside.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Or those things that could happen with this dude I follow on TikTok. I wonder if he's ever had anyone in the car when he's done it.
Well, yeah. I mean, I imagine somebody would be. It's not like you say, "All right, I'm going to put my baby in the car, then I'm going to go inside, get my grocery list together, and then get ready to go to the store."
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. People leave like their dogs in cars.
Well, yeah. I mean, I say that knowing full well that there's plenty of irresponsible a-holes out there.
Oh, yeah, they exist. But I don't know. It's fascinating to me. So the idea here is they want to make it, according to this patent anyway, the idea would be vehicles with full autonomy, which is what everyone seems to be aiming for. Mm-hmm. That means they can drive on their own. You'll just sit back and read a book, whatever. That is what they think the future is. I'm not so sure these days, but I think that's what people think it is. And all of that stuff is, of course, optional. If you want to take control and drive, you don't need autopilot. You can just drive. But in this case, this is like, well, you're behind a payment. You're screwed.
Yeah.
And you might be taking a ride with the car.
I mean, what about just self-locking to where you can't open the car up with the locks? Couldn't that be enough rather than this whole thing?
Oh, that's not bad. That's not bad.
Just have the car lock itself down and that sort of thing.
And then it stays where it's at, and then you don't take. Then the guy with the truck isn't out of a job. He still has to go repossess.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. You know what? Baby steps. Brian's right. Let's go that direction. I like it.
I still stay fully committed to the fact that within 10 years, Lyft and Uber will be completely, if not mostly, or we'll flip that, mostly, if not completely, driverless vehicles. So
I agree.
10 years down the line.
I agree. I think both those companies, well, we already know they're investing in driverless stuff because they see the writing on the wall. They know it's not.
And they have some in Vegas that are driverless. So
yeah, I want to try one of those, kind of. How much does that cost you to get in there?
It's the same. It's the same thing. And you basically, when this happened to us in Vegas, it was Lyft, and it said, "Are you okay with getting a driverless car? Because that's what we have closest."
Yeah.
And even though it was a driverless car, there was still somebody sitting behind the wheel, and there was somebody in the passenger seat who was kind of talking things through. to tell us what was going on, and show. Here's the screen. You can see the. It was really cool. It's like Terminator HUD, where it was showing. Here's it figuring out the stoplight. You're like seeing a video of what the car sees.
Right.
And it's like, here's 5 people walking the crosswalk, and it's like squares over their heads to show that it recognizes these are people, and then a little square over the red light to show that he's waiting for the red light to change, and then like other cars and things like that. And it's really, really cool to see like all the little calculations this thing is figuring out. The big problem that they've had, 2 big problems, is that their system doesn't work as well with darker skinned individuals, so Hispanics, black people, that sort of thing, and jaywalkers, because for whatever reason, even though we use it all the time, apparently these driverless cars can identify crosswalks, even though our captions make us believe that they can't. But jaywalkers, they don't know what to do with jaywalkers, so that kind of freaks them out as well.
Makes sense. Plus, I think currently, if you have this in your cities, the law is they have to be accompanied by humans for now. Like we're not to the place yet where they can go, empty, just a robot. But I look forward to those days. I have no problem with this coming part of our future. I think it's fine. Whatever.
I'm okay with it. It's but you got to kind of look at it too from your point of view of the artist who's seeing stuff like Midjourney and writers who are seeing ChatGPT and all this stuff. Like there are people out there whose job it is to drive people around, not necessarily Lyft and Uber, but taxi drivers and chauffeurs and
bus
things
drivers
like that.
And all that.
It's like, oh great, another thing that the computers are taking away from us. The most recent This Week Tonight is fantastic. Talks all about all this AI stuff.
Oh, I need to. I've not seen the latest. I'd like to see that.
Yeah, it's really, really good. And
up and available now on HBO Max.
It is, and I'll point everybody to one of my favorite songs, actually one of my favorite bands and one of my favorite songs by that band, The Divine Comedy, and a song called You'll Never Work in This Town Again, which sounds like a threat that somebody makes to, somebody in Hollywood who screws up. But really it's more about these people who are like, oh, I'm making all this AI to eventually accidentally make my job obsolete.
Yeah.
And you'll never work in this town again, more as like the problem caused by all this. It's great. It's like, it looks like the opening for Mad Men. It's so good.
It's gonna get weird, everybody.
It is gonna get weird.
Things are gonna get weird. All right, final story.
Yes.
A missing adventurer. Okay, a father of 3. Everyone didn't know what happened. He was out doing adventure. He showed up finally in a shark's stomach.
Oh no!
Yeah,
Well, they found him. They found me, Marty.
They found me, Marty. I don't know how they did, but they found me. Father of 3 had an accident in his quad bike while riding on a beach in Argentina has turned up inside a stomach of a shark. Diego Barina, age 32, he was a father of 3. I keep pointing that out to make us feel bad. Was last seen riding his Yamaha Raptor off-road buggy along the stretch of the coastline. He then disappeared. His wife, Virginia, posted desperate messages trying to figure out where the heck he was. 2 days later, his damaged all-terrain vehicle and helmet were found in the beach near Rocas Coloradas.
Yeah, Rocas Coloradas. Colored rocks.
Colored rocks, like Colorado.
I don't know if Rocas is rocks. Rocas. ROCAS. Maybe. Yeah, it might be rock. Yeah.
So what they think happened, so then these other, separately, local dudes were out fishing and they hauled in 3 sharks out of the sea. I'm not even sure that's legal, but whatever. One of them, they went to prepare and clean up and cut up and all that, and they found the dude in there.
Oh, jeez.
He was a dude.
They found, oh my God, they recognized him or figured out who it was based on the tattoo, rose tattoo on his arm.
Oh, man. That sucks.
Jeez.
But here's the question that I'm left with, and the one that I will take to my bed tonight and therefore dream about.
Okay.
Did he drive into the ocean, and did a shark get him? From that, did the shark jump out and grab him and pull him back in? Did he die on the beach and then the tide came in and then the shark got... Like, I want to know that, and they don't know that. They don't have any info on that.
Yeah, I mean, sharks, they can get onto the beach. They can kind of get close, but they can't really, like, crawl up on the beach, eat somebody, and then crawl back in the water. So my guess is he got off his raptor, got into the water a little bit to cool off after some exciting buggy action.
Yeah.
And then got et.
And then got et by the shark. That was probably it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I'd love for it to be a much more exciting exciting story, but I'm guessing it's something as simple as got off the bike, got in the water, got et.
Yep. Maybe don't do that, everybody. Be careful around these sharks, will you? Argentinian sharks, they don't mess around. All right, we're going to take a break. When we get back here, my sister Wendi will be here. We're going to talk about all that trigger stuff from last week. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. We got all those listener submissions, right, of triggers?
A ton of them.
Sweet.
Had a really hard time moving them from Discord to Wendi because you can't. It turns out you can't easily. She was having a hard time getting into the server, so I'm like, well, maybe I'll just copy these out and make a PDF for her.
Oh, there you go.
That doesn't work very well because if you copy the entirety of a thread, it doesn't move it. Either Windows or Mac, doesn't matter. I tried it on both. It doesn't move the text. It won't copy the text out of that Discord thread. I don't know why. I don't know if that's like a security thing on Discord side or something, but I could copy and paste individual messages. But to do that for that thread would have taken me all night. So finally I just captured screen grabs and sent her 10 pages of screen grabs. And it's really like being my mom, really, is what I did.
Yeah, I know.
That was my mom.
She's, you're like, oh, great, now I have to do tech support with her. So it's, another reason.
Yep.
Get out of Minneapolis, get out of Minnesota, and come back. Come
back to Utah.
west.
We need you.
Yeah.
All right, that'll do it for that, though. We'll be back with her in a second. But we need a song here at the mid show. What do you got there, Brian?
Okay, well, I've got one for you. Another thing that Canadians invented is a band called Debt Cemetery. They're from Toronto, and courtesy of Thousand Island Records, they have a brand new song. Listen, if you've been bitching all week that Brian, you're only picking these like indie pop, female fronted sweet songs. Me, I'm sure somebody out there is exactly triggered by that. Maybe you're triggered by my
now we know
media.
their trigger. Jeez.
All right, well, let's get to some Toronto punk rock. Here is Debt Cemetery and a brand new song that's fantastic called Let's Myrtleize Them.
Oh, my Lord. All right, we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Video game makers believe that their products are starting to attract a whole new market. Adults, especially women, who would not have been caught dead playing pinball.
I like the brutal, gross, murdery stuff.
Looking to retire and open a restaurant, a bounty hunter named Chit.
I don't know why I even used that one. Sorry. Hey, who was that again? That sounded real good.
I'm too thrown by hearing a clip from Monica's video dating recording.
Yeah, this was her just trying to. This is her on not Grindr, on Tinder. She was on Tinder, and her Tinder message was a little rough. Yeah.
Yeah, a little rough. All right, so that was Debt Cemetery, DEBT Cemetery. You got to spell that with 2 E's and an A, folks.
Yeah.
A brand new song called Let's Myrtleize Them. That's a brand new single from those Toronto punks.
Nice. It sounds pretty good. Well done, Canada. Good. You've once again surprised us with your depth and your breadth in Canada.
Yes.
It's not just gravy and potatoes. It's not just cheese curds. It's much more.
Right.
Those Canadians.
Exactly.
Canada!
All right. I'm really just killing time because Wendy's not answering. Let's see.
I know. Yeah, it was well done. I appreciate you doing that. I think it was good.
I think she's almost here, though. Oh. Okay, that says stop ringing. I don't want to do that. Let's keep ringing her.
Keep ringing.
Keep ringing. Keep on ringing. Oh, we lost her. Okay, let's try it again. I'll bet this is the magic right here. I bet this is where she picks up. We're waiting. We get the rings of ringage, as Daryl would say, but not the rings of speakage.
No, that's a very different thing.
Yeah, I'm sure it's coming, though. I thought of Daryl the other day because I have 2 lightsaber replicas. Or not lightsaber, phaser.
Oh, phaser replicas, okay.
Yeah, Zert, that whole thing.
Yeah, yes.
And here's what's hilarious about him. So one of them I got from a fan that was just like an actual official branded one. Mm-hmm. And then I got Daryl's that he made. Mm-hmm. His is so much better. It's like trillion times nicer and better made.
Mine's hanging there on the wall right under my Captain America shield, and it's a great one.
It's great, right? I freaking love that thing. All right.
I got to expand my weapon collection because I've got Thor's hammer, Captain America's shield, a phaser, the element guns from Star-Lord, and then a was the Nintendo hand.
Oh, the glove, the power glove.
The power glove. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes.
I need one of those. Dang it.
Yeah,
they're expensive on eBay.
Everyone knows it's Wendi.
Hey, my very patient sister and therapist Wendi is on the line. Hi, Wendi.
Hi.
Do you like hearing about all our toy guns and things? You like that?
No.
What does it say about us? Do we need so many toy guns?
Yeah, what does that say about us? I wonder. That's a whole different
What
topic.
does that say?
A little
You
bit
mean
fishy.
the industrial military complex is built on this question.
That's true. But none of them are cool lasers and gauntlets and lightsabers and stuff. Hey, it's good to have you here. I wanted to give you a quick update. We hung out with Mom, and you didn't hear this.
I'm gonna interrupt for 1 second.
Yeah.
Doorbell's ringing, so keep going on
okay.
that. I'm gonna
go grab whatever you got.
Answer the doorbell.
So we go over there. Brian's heard this anyway. And it's all good. Mom's doing great. She's super sharp. I don't know what John's talking about half the time. He's always saying how she's, your mom. And I'm like, I don't know, John. Every time I'm around her, she seems to be doing fine. You're grumpy. I don't know what your deal is. Anyway, so we're over there, and we're hanging out, and we're talking. We brought her tacos because she loves Taco Bell tacos and never gets to have them because John won't let her. So we always do that, partly because I know it bugs him. But anyway, we bring him over. We give Mom these tacos. She's super stoked. He gives me the side eye, like, I don't like those tacos, because he won't eat anything but Italian anyway. That's just his deal. So we're there, and at one point in the chat, and everybody's heard this already, but at one point, Mom, we were talking about tattoos because Carter's got these cool. She got a cool tattoo while she was in Iceland, a little Icelandic symbol thing, and they were asking about it.
Is it the little donuts that are all twisty?
No, but it was something. I can't remember. It has a name, and I think the reason she didn't do, because there's some really cool Norwegian symbology that you can do. Yeah. But a lot of it's been co-opted. Icelandic or Swedish or all sorts of
Scandinavian.
Scandinavian in general. And the problem is a lot of that's been co-opted by hate groups and Nazis and junk like that. So you have to be careful about which ones you get. So hers is very neutral. But anyway, my mom's there and she says, "Oh, I love tattoos." And I remember thinking, when a basketball team would come out for the NBA and you'd see all these basketball players, you'd always see these ones with all the whole arm done, the whole sleeve, but it's really hard to see on the blacks, she'd say. And I thought, Mom,
oh, great.
I know you're not racist, okay? And this isn't even she's not being anything. She's just saying what she says because she's old and this is what you say. But I tried to think how she should have said it, and I think it should have been like, I don't know. It's harder to see. What do you say? Do you say it's just harder? It's harder to see on black people. Would you say that, or is that just weird?
Do you have to say anything?
See, that's the other option. Don't say anything. Exactly, because who cares? Like, it doesn't matter anyway. And then John was all like, "I don't know why you got a tattoo." And like he's got his whole thing about tattoos. He's like, tattoos back in my day or in the 70s. If you had a tattoo, that meant you were done. That was it. You weren't going to do anything in life. I'm like, all right, well, it's not like that now, John. Enjoy your not tacos that you're eating over there.
Moving on.
Anyway, perfect timing because Brian just got back, and we're now going to move to today's thing. So I hope all that stuff I sent you made sense.
Hold on. Everyone, Scott just set that up perfectly by being triggered.
Yeah, I did get I got triggered. Bing! It's a trigger.
This was
and Brian was triggered by a doorbell.
I was triggered by a doorbell and a signature that I had to give the FedEx guy.
But you know what? A doorbell and a signature has a practical outcome. See, you actually got a package for your triggering. I get nothing for mine. Nothing. Which is probably a good theme because a lot of times triggers do yield us nothing. But did you were able to make sense of all the stuff I sent you? Did it all make those all the little images?
Yeah, it's crazy. There's a lot of them, and I don't know which one to pick.
I know there's a lot,
so many.
And there's a lot of replies, and there's a lot of just fluff in there. But
well, we're not leaving until you reply to each and every one of the ones that Scott sent you. Sit here and you will.
But overall, I mean, we gotta do an overall first here, right? Like kind of the whole thing.
Yeah. Let's talk about it overall first.
All right, let's do it.
So what we did, right, is we asked everyone send in what triggers you. And yes, the word trigger is way overused, but it really is a good, give me a different word. Set off. switch flipped. I don't know, right? It's a trigger is pulled and a reaction occurs.
Right.
And the question is, what in the world? Why is that a thing? And then what does it actually mean? And what do we do with it versus what I think a lot of people just do is, mock anyone who's triggered. Right? Like that's been the like a clap back.
It's
to
been
it,
used
right?
pretty loosely over the last few years, I would say. People like to just say, well, if your reaction is anything other than agreement, then you're triggered, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it's one that that people like to throw out accusations to and say, oh, well, sorry, didn't mean to trigger the left or trigger the woke mafia or anything like that.
Yeah, or all
It's
that
like
crap. Freaking the word. It's fine if Brian says it, but if I hear anyone say, you know what triggers me? The word woke. There you go. Triggers me. I hate it.
Both sides. I don't care which side you're on.
I don't care who says the word woke.
I'm 100% with you.
It's so meaningless and stupid, and I hate it. Okay, I'm triggered.
Yeah,
anyway.
Somebody posted a video.
We got Scott.
And mine too. That one triggers me too.
Yeah, it gets me.
But Brian, you sound smiley when you say it. Your trigger sounds like it's like, all right. Scott
Brian smiles when he triggers.
I'm always smiley. Smiling
I
is my bullet that goes along with my trigger, basically.
That's right.
Yes,
Pull my trigger, you get my smile.
Yeah.
Bless your heart.
Love it. Love it. You're a Southern mom. Okay.
That's right.
All right. Well, okay. So the overarching thing here is like, let's actually talk about what's happening to someone's body when they're triggered. Because here's the thing. Anyone who mocks other people's trigger is triggered. Like it's one of those, it's ubiquitous. It's a human response. And people handle, like any other human, experiences, they handle it in different ways, right? But let's just talk about what is happening physiologically to someone when they are being triggered. So if we could scan your little brain at the exact same time, I say woke.
Yeah.
Scott, what am I going to see? Like,
you're
what
gonna see me
to your body?
I tense up. I can feel the difference in like my overall body tense rating. So muscles are constricting. I'm a little bit like stiff, my neck is especially tight. And mentally, I'm either in the mood to just go at it verbally or to go away. The one of those two extremes. I don't want to discuss this BS with anybody. And it's kind of the same problem with the trigger definition you gave earlier. It works with woke as well. If somebody says woke, what that tells me is that they are actually saying they're the woke ones because they see another group that they call woke.
Yeah.
And they've assigned whatever meaning to that. It just is meaningless. And so for me, it's usually like I need to get away from whoever this is. And usually it's not people in person, but I've had friends say it in conversation. It's like, all this woke culture. And I went, oh, don't say that, dude. And he's like, what? And I go, I just freaking hate that word. And we don't even get into what his actual problems are because it doesn't matter to me. It's just
it shuts you down. It's like an immediate, like, I am going to disregard everything that you say after that word because I'm so tired of hearing that being used.
Yeah, to me, it's like it's a repetition problem. So I am tired of it being used. That's absolutely one of them. The other thing is I just think it's a crutch. It's a throwaway word. It's what do you call it? When you boil something down to something that's too simple, you've not diminished.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're saying. Like you've simplified, or not simplified, oversimplified.
Reduction, reductive. That's it, reductive. You've been, it's the ultimate in reductive, which people love to do. They love single words that cover a big blankety thing that's way more nuanced than that. Can't do it, man. Can't freaking do it.
Yeah. So, okay. Like, someone says, oh, this woke, or I'm trying to think of someone who uses it not in an annoying way. Is that possible?
I don't think it's possible. So, I can't think of an example.
I woke up this morning.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, you woke up.
Okay. Look at me. Look at me.
Well done.
So context matters. Context matters, which includes someone's body language, their tone, the sentence structure, right?
Yeah.
I just had a very fun conversation with a guy from France, and we were talking about how easy it is to say something in another language. Like, he was obviously speaking English to me and saying like, and I'm missing all the nuance I feel. I cannot convey it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there is something when you've done that with two languages, you get it on a level, and there's a humility to that experience that when you are all speaking the same language, you're just like, oh, I know exactly what you mean. And you don't usually, right?
Yeah.
But it's because we need facial expressions, body language, context, tone, all those different things. And sometimes, we're missing them, especially in online life. But just this idea of like, I have a response to this, but it's from a past experience, not from you right this minute. But also I'm getting the vibe because you dropped your voice and acted like, are we friends here? Let's talk about woke culture. Like someone's trying to commiserate with you. And if they did it around a topic you liked, you'd be like, sweet, let's talk about it. But when they hit the wrong note, your whole system is doing, and you described it perfectly, Scott. You said, I either want to get out of there or I'm ready to go at it. So in, psychology parlance, that's the fight or flight response.
Oh yeah. Literally
right?
That's fight or flight, isn't it? Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
it is. And some people might have a freeze response of just like, oh, I can't talk. I can't go there. And then others, might use diplomacy suddenly. That's another fight or flight response.
Somehow finding that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, okay. Anyway. So you are physiologically in a state to run away or fight. And you're supposed to just be having a normal conversation at lunch with somebody.
Yeah.
So let's just honor for a moment how weird that is that a word can do that. That's crazy.
Right.
And yet, that is what every trigger is in essence. It is a button that can be pushed and then gives you changes your body chemistry. So I'm looking at this list and most people are describing like, my shoulders are up to my ears and my heart's racing and I'm ready. Everyone is having a physiological response. So this is where getting curious about what the heck does the word woke mean to you? And why is this so bothersome? And we can pick a different example or pick one of these examples, but like, what is going on? What's the actual story behind it? Because it has to be a story. When I say I woke up this morning, it does not trigger you. But if I say, let's talk about woke culture or cancel culture or whatever, all these made up concepts, then you have a response. Why? If it's the first time you heard the word, you wouldn't, but it's not. So then understanding the history that got you to this moment helps you understand why it triggers you. So we'll go back to our, ancestors wandering around and hunting and gathering berries. And a particular moment taught you that was stupid. Never do it again. You're going to die if you eat that red berry, or you got so sick, etc.
Yeah.
Like you learned from very visceral experiences that trained you to have disgust as a response, right?
Yeah.
And revulsion and stay away and, oh, we got to fight or I'm under threat. So I got to fight or flight. So let's take woke, Scott. We'll just take that for one more second and then we'll find one of these ones. What is threatening that your body has to go into fight or flight? Do you know?
Yeah, it's that blankety reductive quality to it, because I know but what they're about to say is going to just be surface level nothing, and it's a waste of time, and it just feels so freaking lazy, and to me they're doing it, they're knowingly doing that. So I feel like being lied to. That's why I don't like it, because it just feels like you're putting yourself behind the easiest possible shield, and you don't really want to have a conversation. You're not here to learn anything. You're not here to hear any other points of view. You're here just to put a weird thing in the ground and go, "Man, what are you going to do about this?" Like that's the whole thing around it that I just feel every time, and I don't care who's saying it.
It's intended,
and that's because you've had that's because you've had that experience before.
Yeah, there is a repetition quality, but like Brian said before, you get so sick of it. But part of that is, is this a problem in other languages? I wonder. I always wonder this, and I don't know. I'm not fluent in any other languages, so I can't speak to this at all. Maybe others can. Somebody like Patrick, who speaks 7, he probably knows this better than anyone. But like, are in French or in Spanish or other words or other languages, are there words that you're all sick of everyone using to just sum everything up? Or is it just an English thing where we go woke and mega and what other dumb thing we do? Like,
But you know what the biggest problem is, though, is we export those words.
Yeah.
So that happened all the time in Swedish. someone would say a word that is definitely an English word that has been spread through humanity, unfortunately. And they'd say, do you have this word in English? And I'd be like, that is an English word.
Oh, I see.
And it's probably the word woke, actually, because they're hearing it and because they speak English and it's so ubiquitous in their culture. They add, so a lot of their slang words are Arabic words because they had a ton of migration and refugees from Arabic speaking countries. So those words get put in the lingo. So you learn Swedish, but you got to learn a bunch of slang in Arabic. And then of course, English, because especially it used to be British English, definitely way more American English now. But every YouTuber, I mean, you can hear a little Swedish kid running down the street going, subscribe below.
Yeah.
Like my video.
Like and subscribe. Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
That's it. Thank you.
That's just some
And
universal.
like one time,
Yeah.
like I had my driver's license or driver's plate, whatever, said it was either, I can't remember, was it OMG or LOL, one of the two.
Mm-hmm.
And those are English-based words and acronyms, right? And I pull up to an intersection, I stop, and this kid walks across the street, sees my car, points at it, and then does that Fortnite dance, like right in front of me. And I was like, I'm missing something, but I also think it's related to LOL or whatever. Anyway, but just that idea of like, it gets spread, but every language has similar, because you have to describe a phenomenon. Oh, this thing that's happening and some reaction to that thing or whatever, and so humans shortcut with language. So yes, it's in every language. I just feel bad that we export our crap.
And so in that thinking, I mean, part of my problem is I am in a perpetual loop of, I've tried to break this recently and I think I've done a better job of it, but I'm in this perpetual loop of trying to engage with people. I want to give them a chance to be nuanced in the discussion.
Sure.
And it always is folly. Not always. Sometimes, often it's folly. So whether it's somebody I want to talk to, and we'll keep it for now in a political realm, but if I want to talk to somebody about the nuances of, what they call woke, what do you actually mean? Like really dig in. It's usually a complete waste of time. They're not there to have that discussion. They're just there to spout off this word and then run away. Yes. And then on the other side, if somebody wants to tell me that all conservatives are racist douchebags, I have the same problem. It's nuanced, damn it. There's way more layers to this than this like on and off switch that everyone has from their point of view. And that is the trigger. It's not so much the word, so the word woke or the word any of this stuff. It's just everyone's unwillingness to say it's more than just this black and white issue. If they could do that more, I think humans would be just better off. I just can't stand it where we block it up and go, nope, that's as far as my education on this goes because that's where I'm comfortable. Yeah. I hate that. Freaking hate it. So there,
right.
So
which at its core is that very human element of comfort. So notice what every trigger people wrote and what you're writing, and the very definition, right, is that you go from your baseline state to uncomfortable. And what that does is it requires you to act. That is the human experience. I'm cold. It's because I'm going to die. Get out of the cold. So uncomfortableness is a driving force in us doing something different to change a situation, right? So a trigger will act like, oh, I'm putting you right in an uncomfortable place based on your previous experience, based on a lot of assumptions, based on what you think this is going to go and what you don't want and do want, and get out of it. So that's run or that's fight. Right. And the thing is, this morning I saw the clip of Hassan Minhaj was hosting the Daily Show, and he does this rant on Twitter about Twitter. That is,
he's really good as the guest hosts they've had. He's been one of the best. He's really funny.
He's
awesome.
So good.
Yeah,
he's so good. But you need to watch his Twitter rant. It is beautifully done, and it's one of his signature moves is to like roast the whole world and then see himself in the mirror. And he just does such a great job. It's awesome. Anyway, but that idea of like, we are all Twitter and Twitter is all us. And also Twitter is only like 3 people. Like you just gotta, I'm not making sense. You gotta watch it. But anyway, this idea of like, okay, I am now forced to do something. So for example, Scott, you're sitting with someone at lunch and they're like, woke. And you're like, I have a job now. Yeah. I got to do something, or I got to run away, or I'm somehow responsible for this person's thoughts. whatever.
Yeah.
And so I want to give everyone just a little fun trick to try when you get triggered about something. And then we can go into some people's specifics.
No, I like
people
this.
have some
This is
fun
good.
stuff.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay. So here's the trick. I will tell you, I did it the other day. It's incredibly effective. It takes a hot minute because you have to manage your biology, and we're not all great at that. Most of us are disconnected from our biology. We're like uncomfortable, run and scroll Twitter, or whatever. Like we tend not to be able to sit in uncomfortable feelings, except all the people who practice meditation. That is exactly what they're doing. They are training their mind to manage uncomfortable stuff.
Right.
And that's why it's so powerful in how it impacts us is we just have higher tolerance for something. We don't have to make actions so quickly. We can think through things through a little differently. And really how it works with humans is like human relationships is what I meant, is that it gives you a slower pace and a decision you can make instead of being just stuck in a biological need to run just or fight.
Reaction mode. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Reaction mode. Right. Okay. So I'm talking to a person that's great and I care about a lot, but every once in a while we have little disagreements about how to do certain things. And she says, okay, now I know people have strong feelings about Jordan Peterson. But she just wanted to share some thought from Jordan Peterson. So here's the thing. I avoid Jordan Peterson because I'm pretty sure I will be triggered by him. And I'm not interested in having another person bother me. Does that make sense? Like I've kind of avoided it. I do know there's just some misogynistic stuff generally and kind of some things about it that I don't love, right?
He's generally a pud. That's just the way I look at him. But yes, I know what you're saying.
And I just I'm not going to engage, don't want to. But I found myself immediately going like, oh no, what is this? like not triggered in the way that I'm out, I got to run or punch you in the face, but just enough. And I like this person just kept talking and I found myself just like going a little internal, just like, hey, everybody in there, it's okay. Like just breathe, right. Like a little bit of just breathing a little deeper, like reminding myself, like none of this actually matters. Like they're like just toning the whole emotional response down, even though it wasn't very strong. So it's easier to do, obviously, when it's less strong. And then at the very end of that, because most people just want to talk, if you'll notice, they'll just go blah, 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 blah. And then I waited for there's like a logical moment.
Yeah.
And I just said, yeah, tell me exactly why that matters so much to you. Why do you think that's such a good idea? Or how does that resonate with you? And it was astounding. This person did not come in thinking I was not going to fight with them. That on some level, like she knows me well enough to know I'm going to not be posting Jordan Peterson quotes or whatever,
Right.
Sure.
I mean, making that assumption, right? And so, but what happened was I just was biologically calm enough to be curious. It was genuine. Like, all right, how do you want to implement this thing you're trying to tell me about? That honestly, when anyone says, oh, I'm reading this, whatever, they saw a tweet or they saw an Instagram reel.
Yeah, that's
like,
their research.
Honestly, that's
Sure.
what most people are doing.
Yeah.
So instead of like going at it, I just said, hey, tell me how you think that concept is applicable to what we're talking about. And it was like a cloud lifted, an angel sang, and she goes, I don't know. I actually haven't thought about this at all.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, really? Huh. So what resonates? Like, what makes you think it's good? She's like, I mean, I don't know. I guess I have to think about it. I guess maybe it isn't that good.
You know who does this? Not Jordan. Is it Jordan something guy who does the Daily Show stuff where he goes to like rallies and junk, and people will have their big statement like
Klepper,
Klepper, Jordan Klepper.
Oh my God, I love that.
He's a genius. I think part of his genius, though, his genius is this thing you're saying, because he'll get up with somebody who is decked from head to toe in, whatever cult they're in. I don't want to trigger anyone, but they'll be going off about one statement. It's on their poster or whatever, and he'll ask these kinds of questions, and they end up straight up just not knowing the answers or coming around in a weird way. Like how you do that to people or how he does that to people is really insane. I wish I was a little better at that.
and does it in a way that doesn't make them feel like they're being made fun of, even though
they kind of are. They're making fun of themselves,
kind of are,
right?
yeah.
He's more that he's saying, I don't want to get into his head. I don't know him, but it's more like he's getting them to just say stuff so that it's no longer behind a quote or behind a wall of, a tribal wall or whatever. Instead, it's just the person kind of admitting where their head's really at. And a lot of times it's them admitting they don't actually know. They don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So
most don't, and no one's thought through anything long enough that they should really be giving a dissertation at a lunch, right? Like, if you've done academia at all, the level of work before you're allowed to claim anything is insane, right? But most of us walk around acting like, well, I've done my research. Like, have you? Okay. Right? But that feeling,
I did my research up to the point that it told me what I believed, confirmed what I believed, but not any further.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And so this is so human. Everyone does it. Everyone does it on whatever side you're on. It doesn't matter because it is very human to do. Yeah. The thing I get curious about is like, what is the motive in this moment? Right.
Yes.
So if you go right to fighting or flighting, then they are now dealing with your response, which just doubles them down in their whatever. Whereas when I could say, oh, that's really interesting. You think that, like, keep going. Yeah. Then suddenly they're like, oh, I don't have anything else because I was just ready to fight. And you just kind of suck the wind out of a potential fight, right? So, but it's really hard to do this if you are in that reactive state. So when we go through the list of triggers, and this is why I think it's a powerful concept to think about and dig into for someone. So, when I have a client, I'm always like, so I ask it in a different way, but like, what's triggering you? And then we work with each of them to find out what's really behind them. And what's amazing is your whole system, it's like it's geared up to fight this potential foe. And then when you deconstruct yourself and look at where does this come from for me, or why is this so bothersome? Or, it's usually places of powerlessness or fear or embarrassment or shame, or, we're all fighting those core don't abandon me feelings or whatever it might be. And then they just come out sideways because that's how it works with humans. And so if you do this with yourself and go, all right, what triggers me and why? What's amazing is you can figure out how to be triggered less. And, some of these triggers are funny. Like, I can't stand it when I watch a TV show and there's this one little thing. Well, that's going to happen periodically, and you can choose not to watch a show. Like, those are easily avoidable. But when it's like, I'm so triggered every time my mother-in-law opens her mouth, right?
Yeah.
And here's, we could take that as a really good example. The thing your partner does that's hard for you, you see its origin when you interact with their mother and father.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you may not be conscious of that, but it's part of what you're reacting to. And if you can figure out some of that stuff, it's interesting. You can be less reactive because you get where it is actually coming from. That's kind of the point of understanding the story of where these things get started. So, okay. Do we want to pick someone's, just randomly pick ones you like?
Sure. Do you want me to, I have them all right here in front of me. Do you want me to just pull one? Here's one. So let's see. Okay, so
once
this
said Brian doing an imitation of Trump.
Oh yeah, that's Tally doesn't like Brian's imitation of Trump.
Oh, is it Tally? Because I know Jeannie has a hard
Brian.
time with it too.
No, it was.
I think there's a few people.
Tally,
I think it was Tally, who had it.
Yeah.
In the thread anyway. But so here's one. I don't know. Should I give names or not?
Oh sure, throw me under the bus.
Should I do? Can I do names? Do you think, Wendi? What's the ethical thing here? Do I give names or no?
Don't give names. Just give the thing.
All right. Here's one that says, I get unusually triggered when somebody accuses me of not doing something when I know that I have done it, like full-on flush and heart-racing anger response. Could be from having to defend myself constantly growing up with ADHD and always forgetting things. So I don't know. It didn't give any examples of that stuff, but like, I assume things like the garbage didn't get taken out. No, I totally did. Or, things like that, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But there's one.
Defensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how about that? Being accused of that.
I can summarize that one really quick.
Okay.
They already know where it came from. They're absolutely right. When you grow up with ADHD specifically, and maybe it's not treated and you don't learn certain skills and people don't know how to treat you in a way that it functions well, you're going to have example after example after example where you have done something wrong and people come at you. And so, of course, you're going to build a defense to that, right? So you're going to be more triggered by feedback in certain forms than somebody else might be.
Right.
And so really figuring that out and doing some work to manage it differently now as an adult and like learn to process all that has occurred will really help with that. It's like carrying a storage unit on your back full of that pain. And so it's just so easily touched when anyone gives you any kind of feedback that isn't, you're doing it right, because life is full of feedback. You're doing it wrong. And that is, you're particularly sensitive to it. So
how about,
not to say that's easy. That's a bit of work.
No, it's still work. It's still work. Yeah,
makes
for
sense.
sure. Here's one I like that this feels, I feel like Brian and I in particular will agree with this one. All right.
Okay.
I could be wrong, and I don't want to blanket this, but you'll tell me if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong. This person says, my trigger: unkindness and disrespect to people in a lower power position. Example: people who are rude to waiters, service people, or others. It makes me think that they treat people as a means to an end, and directly confronts my belief that everyone is unique and valuable. I feel my body physically tense up, my shoulders hunch, my jaw clenches whenever this happens. 100% agree with that. I hate that. I think part of that is Dad's fault,
right?
Because Mom did that to people and Dad didn't, and I had an example happening at the same time. She'd be mad at the same dinner at some waiter for no reason, and my dad would be the total opposite. Although he was a horrible tipper, but he was very kind to people. And so I don't know, I'm just really sensitive to that. And Brian, I don't think I've spoken too much about you. I feel like you are the same way with people like that.
Absolutely,
right?
yes. My big trigger, and didn't think about it until this segment, is seeing people forcibly take something that is not theirs to take, or claim something that is not theirs to claim. And it can be as simple as, somebody driving down the shoulder to avoid avoid waiting in line, waiting in the same line that we're all in, kind of thing, or anything like that.
Yeah, it's the whole that Simpsons scene. I always remember it, where Lenny and Carl get to this retreat before anyone else, and Lenny says, "And we made it here first because of teamwork." And Carl says, "Yeah, my teamwork. I never forgot that."
Yes,
because it's this perfect example of like, I got mine. Sorry, as if we're not all in the same boat half the time, most of the time.
Right.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm with this one big time. Yeah.
So I think there's a common, I read that and I'm like, well, that's because you're a good person. Right. So I think there's a very norm. Hopefully we can continue this as a society progresses, of just fairness and like rightness, kind of the why universally we don't think a joke that punches down is funny, and why we think a joke that punches up is funny. We have some built-in stuff here around things that are okay or not okay. And some of it is definitely directly taught. I mean, I think I have verbally said many, many times to my children, the most important person at any company is the person who answered the phone or sees you in the lobby, right? Or the person opening the door. Like, if who you are to them is who you are. Or when Dad, I was dating Adam or just anyone, he'd say, you got to pass 2 litmus tests. How do children see this person? And how do dogs? Those are your 2 tests, because a dog will sniff out crap and kids will read it. Yeah.
Right away. Yes. Oh my God. That's so true. Yeah.
So you have a bit of that. So, I'm sure people are listening who are like, oh no, children and dogs hate me. I'm like, oh, maybe I'll look in the mirror. No, I'm just kidding. But just this idea of like, there's just a runt response we all have, like, you don't do that. That's not okay. Or someone who's disadvantaged, or, whatever you might be. And part of it, we've been in some of those places maybe ourselves. It's when we see someone who is disregarding that rule, it can be incredibly triggering. Like, Brian, your example of someone driving on the side of the road, passing everyone.
I turned into George Costanza. We're in a society here.
Yeah.
It is universal, I think. And and then everyone does something different. So this person is saying, hey, I have this absolute physiological response to this kind of thing. And then the question is, what does it compel you to do?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So road rage is an example of someone feeling compelled to do something with being triggered that way.
Yeah.
It's my passive aggressive part of me that loves to do things like I will just ease over into the side of the road.
Like just enough to like block anybody from doing that. Kind of do that. Yep.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and just turn on your music real loud and roll your windows down. Like
Yeah,
there's a way.
And it's 100% different than like where there's a merge, right? Where there's a merge coming. I'm the type who says, I'm going to get over in the lane I know I'm going to need to be in right away. But really, the merge is there to like get everybody as close up there and then alternate cars so that you get the most efficient way of getting everybody into that single lane. So I don't care about the people who I merge, but they go all the way down to the place where you have to merge because it's like, you do what you want to do. I'm avoiding the stress, but it's still, going in the right place.
Yeah, we're talking about the other thing.
But shoulder people, and my road rage. So my inkling, not to just steer my car into them as they're passing me, but it's that kind of like, oh, please let there be a cop up there. Please let them. I don't want to wait for karma to.
I've definitely been there.
I want to be karma.
I know there's a whole psychology about why we see our cars as our barriers to humanity. Like for whatever reason it's like the video of the two dogs on one side of a sliding fence and the other, and they're barking like they're going to kill each other until they pull the fence in, and they're now nose to nose, and now they won't do anything. They're just like happy to be there. Yeah. You shut it again, and they start barking like bloody murder. It's like we're like that in that scenario, and it's weird because I don't really want harm to come to this idiot who did this, but now I've this is his whole definition now. That's the guy. He's the guy that cut me off on the shoulder and zoomed up in front of everybody. It's his one defining characteristic, and nothing else will ever define that human being, which is not true. It's so not true. That guy's probably got kids and a wife who loves him. And, there's a million things about this human being I don't know. The only one thing I know is today, on this Saturday, he cut over on the shoulder. That's all I know.
Yeah.
The worst.
Exactly.
Yeah. And take the treating someone in a lower position wrong, or like a waiter or service people or something, right? That's so difficult to watch someone do that. And then maybe you feel compelled to be extra nice or whatever. But here's the thing. It's really hard for us to get in that person's shoes who was unkind and be like, well, let's, maybe there's something going on there. Maybe they've never been exposed to, they have no idea how they're coming across. Maybe there's, that's really hard to do. We go straight to enemy territory. And that's because we have to save ourselves and be protective. That is what our biological response is demanding of us. So this is why overcoming your biology, and this is hard to think this solution is this, because it's hard, right? It is meant to get your attention and get you to fight. It's giving you all the imagine getting shot up of all the fighting drugs. That's literally what's happening, right? You're getting a surge of all the right things that get you in a position to do that.
That's why propaganda from any direction is that's its entire job is to do this. That's the job, and they know it
100%. And why it works, is that it does that. Okay. So that's a good one. All right, let's pick a different one.
All right. Okay. Oh, where'd it go? I thought I had a pretty good one here. Oh, here we go. I like this one. When somebody insists that they are the expert on everything, I cannot tolerate being around them. I know exactly why this one, I feel this one. I know exactly why it is, but it still triggers me. My heart races, my fists and claws clench, and I get a pit in my stomach, much to my husband's chagrin. I end up verbosely reliving everything I wish I could have said to them over the next several days. So this person will vent.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
All right. So I'm going to have you do this on behalf of this person. Okay, Scott? Because you have the same trigger.
Oh, absolutely.
When people are the expert on everything.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're not going to talk to your foot this time, but just kind of that same idea where you're going to check with the part of you that is so mad that someone thinks they're an expert. Okay. So you have a part that is raging at.
Well, what if mine's a little nuanced? Here's the problem. Mine is that I know that the person doesn't.
They're not an expert.
Yeah. And I know that they're saying stuff like I'll be on a Zoom call with somebody. As an example, this is not about anyone knows. But if I'm on a Zoom call with somebody and they I'll kind of challenge something they'll say, and then I'll hear like tick, 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 and I'm like, oh wait a minute, they're looking something up, and then they'll come back and go, well, the actual, and I'll be like, okay, I know what you did.
Yeah,
what I want you to do is just be you and talk to me,
Right, exactly.
and I don't need you to be cool. You're already cool. We're already friends. You're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that I guess that's the same thing.
See, this is how I know that you're not talking about me, is because I'll say, I'm not sure. Let me pull up Google, or let's hope somebody in the chat room can help us out on this one.
Always, yeah. Like I
actually, now that I think about that, I think it was in 1984, and if I scroll down to the plot, it was actually about
right. So when I have this problem with somebody, it's more than it doesn't trigger me so much that they don't know, or that they say they know a thing that I know they don't know. Yeah. It's that they're not being straight with me. That's what I don't like, because I know better, and it's a hard thing to bring up, to go, I don't think you're being straight with me about what the thing you looked up on the internet, because it is kind of small and petty sometimes. But when it happens a lot, it's like, all right, well, just be who I am, what I am. You be what you are. We're gonna have our flaws, and that's okay. We'll deal with those, but we don't need to pretend.
And it makes me feel like, all right, what things am I not catching that you're lying about? Like, if I can't trust you on this simple, easy thing to cop up to, then what am I missing that you're doing on a daily basis that's making you think you can get away with it this time?
Yeah, to me, that drives me freaking crazy. Yeah. If it's somebody I don't know, well, they may know things I don't know, and then I can only assume. But if I get to know you, like we've got a relationship, and you're still playing that, what are we doing?
Those people who grew up in the Nickelodeon generation who think that I don't know means they're going to get a bucket of slime dumped on their heads.
That's right. Oh, Nickelodeon, you screwed us.
You screwed up a whole generation of kids who are now
all
afraid
the millennials.
to say,
yep. Let's blanket that one. It's all the millennials watch too much of that slime business.
That explains
triggering
it.
there.
Yeah, that explains it. Except Wendy's one of those.
And actually, there's a great example. A friend just texted me. She's like, "So my Gen Z employee just texted me and said, sorry, I missed the meeting. I'm not a morning person." And she's like, obviously triggered by that, and needs me to validate that. Yeah, kids these days, and But if you think about what it actually does, and this is what the person wrote here. Oh, actually, I read a different one about how it actually makes your life harder. That might be what you're experiencing too. Like, you just made my life harder. Now I got to do something for that. Right. So if you have to know everything, or if you are, always late, or, whatever the thing is that really bugs you, like you get small things wrong, or you don't seem to pay the same consequences I pay for things. Like, we're perceiving all of that happening. And it's usually because there feels like something bad happens to me, right? Or the potential of something bad happens to me, which is why our system will trigger itself. Like, well, last time someone promised a thing and then click, clack, Googled while you were talking, and these can be small things. It doesn't have to be trauma with a large T, right? It can just be like, oh, I do not have a good time when I'm interacting with someone who does these things, right?
Yeah.
So it's really hard to get into a different mind frame. But when you can, and this is how we're going to do it. So go back to your body, Scott.
Yeah.
Someone has to be an expert at everything.
Yeah.
So we're going to ask this first question. Is it possible that you really like knowing things? Like, are you an expert at a lot of things?
Oh, interesting. Who, me or them?
Yeah, you.
Oh,
You.
I do like knowing things. Yeah. I like knowing things.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. So I assume you don't self-identify as a know-it-all.
No, if I don't
But I
know
think
something, I'll admit it. And if I get it wrong, I'm happy to correct it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But also you don't, like, this is important to you. If I said, Scott, do you care that this person is like really into fishing? And you'd be like, oh no, cool, that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
But if I
Fishing's
said,
cool.
hey, here's another cartoonist who does very similar kinds of work and has a bunch of podcasts, are you threatened by them at all? And it might be more so, right? Like, is there something going on with what the trigger is because it threatens your position, or and so asking yourself that question, being curious about, I'm only intimidated by women who are tall. You give me a short lady any day, I don't care.
That's actually true.
Give me a lady who's my height, we're going to have to
No,
play
that's actually
basketball
true.
to decide who's a better person.
I dated a girl in high school who was drop dead model gorgeous, and I couldn't do it because she was 6 foot. Oh, she's like an inch taller than me, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't do
your
it,
man
and
is
that
so small.
it was, and I felt like I could not deal with it. I mean, I was in high school. I'd probably be different now, but back then,
Yeah,
that
of course you
seemed,
could. But the point being, like, you find whatever is the thing that's hard for you is related to you. It's your problem. Now, we're going to be gentle about that. But that's the reason you're being triggered separately than the person next to you because they're not having the exact same experience as you. That just makes sense, right?
Right.
But then if we can get curious about our own trigger, we can do something with it. That's the cool part. All right, so let's go back to this idea. Someone's a expert, they're annoying. Where do you feel this in your body when this happens? So imagine the scenario, click clacky.
Oh,
like,
geez.
I know things.
I get a little bit of a, it's funny, I can picture it. I get a little smirk on my face, and I want to ask probing questions that will catch them in their bullcrap.
Mm.
So I don't want to, because I don't want to overtly go, dude, you're just looking that up, or man, what are you doing? Instead, I'll go, oh, really? What's the thing? Kind of call them on it a little bit. But not do it in a way that's overt. It's a little sneaky, I admit. But I'm trying to like get them to go, I that kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
If they double down, or if they say, "All right, you got me. I was looking it up."
Yeah. And I'm so pleased when somebody would say, "Oh, yeah, I just looked it up. I was hoping you guys thought I was smarter than I am." That is the most that self-effacing thing would be the most like cool water on a fire right then. I'd just be like, oh, okay, that's good. And then I would have said, all right, you're like everybody else. We're all a little vulnerable. We all don't want to be the one in the room that doesn't know something. But look at you, copping to it. We're fine. Everything's good. Like that's what I want them to do, but I don't know how to prompt it out of them.
Yeah.
Other than to be sneaky like that.
Maybe, and this is where the bias towards action of, okay, fight or flight gets me to do something is hard and has bad consequences, is we're trying to create something without having an honest conversation, right? I'm trying to manipulate the weather so suddenly everything lines up and you then are self-deprecating so I feel good. Weird, right? That's a weird job to take on.
Yeah.
And yet it comes very quickly, very naturally. And this is where lots of relationships have challenges, is that everyone's kind of doing this. Now imagine if you gave yourself an absolute leave of absence from that job.
Yeah.
You don't have to care. You don't need to fix anything. You can just be like, oh, that's what's happening. It sounds like you either ate a pot brownie or you've been meditating. But if we take like actually what you can do without meditating right now and having a pot brownie is to just soothe the part of you that's so upset. So, for example, you feel it in your chest. Where do you feel this? When this happens, where do you feel tightness or where is it?
It's that thing. I know, well, whatever. Stephen R. Covey is a name used for both good and bad in the world in terms of like, it's, he's selling books and it's a scam and other people think he had some really great ideas. But there was one thing about the Covey stuff that always stuck with me. And that was this friend of mine who worked at Stephen R. Covey, the company. And he said, there's this thing we always talk about where the only true freedom you have in the world is how you're going to react to something. You can't eat from everything from you're the most free, you're a millionaire and you got everything, to somebody who's in a concentration camp in World War II, who's got a single piece of bread and he has the option to give it to his neighbor or to hoard it to himself. It's the same freedom. One's a lot more difficult, obviously, and circumstances are a lot harder, but the only real freedom we have is how we're going to feel about a thing and therefore react about a thing. And that always stuck with me. And it feels like that's what you're kind of saying. Like you've got this moment of time where you can either do the first gut reaction thing, which is often our primal fight or flight stuff, or think about it for a second. Look within, look without, blah, 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 and then come at it from a different way. That sounds like what you're telling me. And so maybe I learned something good from him.
But you're using one form there, which it's fine if it works, right? You're using your intellectual self to do that, to create enough space to have an emotional difference. It's really tough to say, like, change my emotion, right? It's easier to change thoughts, and then easier still, but this is kind of tricky when you're not connected to your body very well, is to soothe your nervous system. And then emotions change, the story can change, and there's more space. So lots of different angles to go at this. So I'm gonna make you do it again. Where do you feel this in your body?
Same places, I guess.
Okay. All right, so just do this. Close your eyes.
Okay.
I know everyone's like looking at you. Right? This is what Scott looks
We're
like with his
all
eyes
watching. Oh my gosh! No, he can't see him because he's covering his face.
Covering my whole
freaky?
face. Yeah, no.
How do we know your eyes are closed behind your
good.
hands,
Oh, that's
Scott?
true. That's true. Let's do it this way.
I believe it.
Just
Okay, so
kidding. Just
keep your eyes closed. Keep your eyes closed, and I want you to take a couple deep breaths, and I want you to put your mind's eye on your chest or wherever you feel this tightness when you think about people being know-it-alls and experts and deceiving others and not being self-deprecating.
Okay.
Kind of focus on it.
Yeah.
Take a bunch of deep breaths.
Yeah. I can tell you
Okay.
right where it is. I can tell you right where it is. It's right.
Where is it?
You know, I don't know what this is called from a physiological standpoint, but just to the center of your upper back, lower neck. Whatever's tying my shoulders to my neck, this whole apparatus here, that's where I feel it.
Trap. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your trap is
especially my left side. My left side. My left side is kind of prone to that anyway. It's just kind of it happens there a lot. I think it's the way I'd lean, but
and where you keep stress, like hold stress.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, because then Kim will come up and like squeeze my shoulders, and it'll be like, "Oh, never leave. Do this forever. I'm never leaving." You know, that kind of thing.
I have the same thing. I think it's genetic. Okay.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. So just take a second. Your eyes are still closed.
Oh, they are now.
Okay, they are now good. And I want you to just focus on that spot. And I want you to act like there's like a little guy that lives right there whose job it is to tense all this up and prep you for handling it. And I just want you to ask that little guy what he needs you to know.
What he needs me to know.
Mm-hmm.
What he needs me to know.
Yeah. What is he afraid would happen if he didn't tense you up like this? What's he afraid would happen?
He doesn't have a good.
You've used this little guy with us before.
Yeah, I've used this guy before.
He was in the pit of our stomachs when we were talking about something else. Is that same little guy that we had to give permission to stop?
It's a different guy.
Different guy.
Yeah.
Different
guy. Different guy.
They work together though.
Okay, yeah, but they share the same break room.
They meet up in the snack, the break room, and
I think they commute. They trade off weeks.
They meet at the solar plexus.
Yeah, one of them drives. One of them drives every other week. That kind of thing. What is this part of you afraid would happen if you just let this person ramble on and act like an expert? What are they afraid would happen? Okay, I don't know if this is the answer you're looking for, but he doesn't know. He doesn't know. He thinks it's important, just like I do, that somehow we rectify this problem. But when I probe further to say why, he doesn't actually have an answer.
Okay.
That is a legit truth, by the way. I really am feeling
Try
that.
this.
Yeah.
Good. I love it. Okay, ask that part of you how old it thinks you are.
All right. He's in a little devil onesie. Is that normal?
Perfect.
Did I picture how he's dressed? Okay. How old he thinks I am?
Yeah, ask him how old he thinks you are.
It's very complimentary. He thinks I'm 35.
Okay. So I want you to try this. Just update this part real quick. Yeah. Just let him know you're 50-something, your grandfather. Just kind of update him. See how he responds.
All right. As best I can tell, Shoulder Jr. over there is now fully aware of my age status and life status.
And how did it respond to that? Like, oh, you've grown up a little, or?
Yeah, he's like, oh yeah, right. You're I'm getting the impression either from you or from this or from the little guy in the onesie that it's about you're this isn't the right word. You're bigger than the problem. You don't need this isn't something to get bunged up about. Okay. Like just let it be for what it is.
So what I want you to try now.
Yeah.
I want you to thank this part for working hard for you, even though it doesn't quite understand why. It's just trying to protect. Just thank it for its efforts to protect you.
It's asking for a raise now. Is that normal? It wants a raise?
Yeah,
Okay.
you can say this. You can say, ask it to relax and step back. Like it deserves a vacation. Just see if it can relax.
Where does it go?
And it can just sort of lay there and relax and jump in if it needs to, or if it'd like to permanently be done, that's an option too.
So I have this problem. I have a brain that likes to build a world, and I'm trying to physically figure out where he's going to go.
Put it in the world
Find
of
him
Big
somewhere
Mouth
to go.
because I've been feeling this whole time like this should be animated on Big Mouth.
It is like Big Mouth,
Totally.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Or the
So,
spinoff.
so build it somewhere awesome and let it go there. And make sure it's happy and okay. It can be done.
Okay. All right, I've done that. He's in a special little place. He's out of his little devil suit. He's wearing sweats. He's chilling.
Love it. Okay. So now what I want you to do is I want you to, with this part safely relaxed and okay somewhere else, how are you now feeling towards this idea that somebody has to be an expert?
Less annoyed. I'm less annoyed by it. I think I might, it feels like the kind of feeling that at the moment I'm feeling it, but I might feel different later because I've had, I'll run into some day where it's like kind of a hard day and then I'll have to deal with that again. And then I'll be annoyed.
Okay.
But
So you're a little
it
worried
does,
by that?
but
Okay.
it feels like if it was happening right now, I'd just like listen. I just listen to this and I would accept it for what it is. And I just sort of let it go.
Okay. So here's how this gets practical. I want you to do this is next time this part gets taken out of retirement and gets agitated, you just take it right back, put it in sweats, give it all the video games and candy it wants. And it just doesn't need to work for you anymore. It worked for some reason at 35, it needed to jump in. Maybe there were things going on then that needed extra attention and getting your awareness, and maybe they just aren't needed anymore, and that's okay. So just put it back in retirement. Take a big breath and see how it goes.
All right.
That'll do, Shoulder Junior. That'll do it.
Exactly. Okay. So that is not what I was expecting to do. I couldn't help myself. So sorry, everyone.
No, it's
Generally, that was great.
It's pretty fun and it sounds really weird and it would work. So this therapy works so well with people like Scott's brains because their brain will create all the things it needs. It's pretty.
Yeah, I had a very, very vivid visual of the entire ordeal, right down to like details about his facial expressions and what this room looked like that he's now going to retire in, and the couch he was laying on. Like I got it all. It's all dioramaed in my head now.
Yeah, I love it. And so just use that as a place to locate that and really let it retire. And you probably, anyone listening is like, what the crap just happened?
Yeah.
And what it is that at certain stages of our lives, certain responses, or what we all call parts of us or trigger parts, they come online to protect us. So that's why I like to sort of have people check in with their bodies and find out, like, how long has this part been doing this job? And when they say they think you're 10, well, they've been doing that job since you were 10. And so sometimes, like you can kind of go into this internal world a little bit and see like, oh, there are lots of things that have come online to help me throughout my life. And some of those are not useful anymore and need to learn to relax. And I'm the one that can help them relax. Usually you need someone to help you do this, right? It's hard to do it on your own.
Sure.
However, like what happens then if you're not triggered the next time someone does this, and you can just have space for like compassion for somebody who thinks they need to know everything rather than irritation at that person. Right. Or the guy driving on the side of the road, your brain can actually go, maybe there's an emergency. It's also not my problem, right? Like it's called being real grown up. Like it is. It's having a little more space between some of these reactionary experiences and whatever triggers you.
Sure.
And then some of the things are just going to always trigger us, everybody. Like I read one final one was about dogs or human licking sounds. Amen. I want to murder my dog every night. Like it's got
or
an
humans
old man
licking
mouth.
dog sounds.
Yeah, you don't want that. That's the worst. No, like you and Kim,
Right?
Kim, I already thought you and Kim had a lot in common, but now I really do, because Kim cannot deal with any of the dogs in the house making any licking sounds of any kind anywhere near her. Plus she has
So gross.
She has super hearing, so she can hear it a room away. And I find it not cathartic or pleasant or anything. But when I hear
It's
my dog
ASMR
cleaning
for
her
you.
arm or
It's like
something,
a
it's like
crackling fire kind of thing for
yeah,
you.
it's like it's my dog. It's being a dog. I love dogs.
Yeah.
She's
Okay,
just being a dog.
listen, I've got like a hunting weird houndy mixy dog. I don't know what it is, but I'm gonna record it, and I'm telling you right now, no one could do this.
I want to hear it.
It is.
I want to
so
hear
gross.
it. I want to hear it for
Okay.
sure.
Fantastic.
I'll send it, and then the whole world will agree. So whoever this person is who wrote it in about the dog and human licking sounds, do not listen to this thing
Yeah.
Scott will play for you. It will break your brain. It's
All
so
right.
gross.
I can't wait to play it on the show for everyone to hear. It'll be great.
Oh God.
Anyway.
all right,
Okay,
well,
I gotta
I-
go. I got a client.
Yeah, I know.
Oh
It's
yeah, you
like,
should go.
yeah.
Get the hell out of here. That was really great, and I hope people liked it.
good.
Send us your feedback. Let us know what you thought, and if you got some specific triggers you think are worthy of
Yes.
discussion on the show, let us know. Wendy,
Happy to tackle a specific one. But yes, Real Steps starts this Monday. Please sign up. We meet at 1:00. Our live sessions are 1:00 on Mondays.
yeah,
So if you can rearrange your work life, you can also watch a recording later if you can't make the Mondays at 1, but just heads up on that. Sign up, realsteps.org. It's going to start Monday. It's going to be awesome. I've spent all night doing a bunch of things. I'm so excited. It's going to be so fun.
nice.
So,
Well, that's
join
perfect.
us, everybody.
Yes, join
Join us.
realsteps.org, everybody. Wendy, we'll see you next time. Bye now. Okay.
Thanks, Wendy. When you do eventually get your one Apple Pencil and draw a Shoulder Junior in his devil onesie, it's a consensus among the chat room that there needs to be a butt flap on the onesie.
Oh, on the old fashioned. Yeah, they all had that, like the night underwear.
Old-fashioned, like the long underwear, and yep, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense. And then but that means we got to do like a rear view so everybody can see his little crack, or what's the deal there? What do you want to do?
Yeah.
That?
Oh, yeah. It needs to be. So, like, I'm picturing. What was the Harvey comics? Like we had Casper, Richie Rich. What was the devil called Lil Devil? What was the little click click clack clack click 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 click?
Let's
clack,
look
clack.
it up. Let's look it up. Lil Devil?
Is it Lil Devil?
Let's see. TV series? No.
No, it was a Harvey Comics, like Hot Stuff.
Hot
Thank you, Jay
Stuff?
Fantastic. Yeah, do you not remember Hot Stuff?
No, that's totally news to me. It was a oh, look at him. The little dude's familiar, but I don't remember the name of this at all.
Yeah, like the total Harvey Comics. I guess he's wearing a diaper. I forgot he had a diaper on. So
okay.
He wouldn't really have a butt flap because he would be his butt flap.
All right, right. I found him. He's
you
eating
know what?
He's
It was
eating
a
corn on a
combination of Hot Stuff and Wendy the Good Little Witch too, because she actually did have like a red onesie.
So this is definitely that era though, or from that stuff, right? Like
Yes. Yeah.
The one I found here is he's eating a corn on the cob and he's shooting popcorn out of his ears because he's hot like a devil.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. Hot Stuff. So his name was Hot Stuff.
Hot Stuff, the Little Devil. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do not remember.
And he
that
was
at all.
my God, I'm just all of a sudden all of these old Harvey Comics memories are coming back to me. Casper, Richie Rich, Wendy the Good Little Witch, Hot Stuff.
Did you and you read these as a kid?
I read those. Those were comics I got alongside Spider-Man and the Avengers and
wow,
and X-Men. Yeah,
that's great. Harvey Comics. Well, their logo was like Marvel. It just spelled Harvey.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, funny. Let me take a look here.
Kind of here. I'll send you one I just pulled up here. Let's see if you
It totally is.
You
Yeah.
see that?
It's like the old Marvel Comics logo where it was in an M.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's an H, and then but the font used for the Harvey and the comic small underneath it totally looks like Marvel. It's weird. That's really weird.
Oh my God.
I mean, I don't want to.
Got any of those left over still? Jeez.
You probably have some, right, in a box somewhere.
I probably in a long box somewhere. Yeah.
I have all my old Mad magazines somewhere, but I have no idea where that box is.
Yeah.
I used to love that stuff. All right. Well, there you go. Good segment today. Real quick, we got a bunch of shows coming up in the next day or so, and one of them is Coverville today at 1 p.m. Tell us about that.
Yeah, today it's going to be Nick and Nina's excellent playlist. We had birthdays, milestone birthdays for Nick Kershaw, he of the Wouldn't It Be Good fame. He gets covered a lot, and sadly, a lot of the newer covers are all like dance music. But I am such a huge Nick Kershaw fan, and that whole album, Human Racing, and the album The Riddle, those two were just on constant replay in my 80s. Loved the music that he put out.
Yep.
And then the rest of the show will be about Nina Simone, who was singer, songwriter, but advocate for for Black women everywhere. She was just a powerhouse, and so many songs that you hear a lot these days deserve like she deserves credit for either writing them or making them popular. Like the song Don't Let Me Be Misunderstood that the Animals had a big hit with.
Oh, yeah.
That was hers. Feeling Good. Birds flying high, you know how I feel.
Oh.
Da-da-da-da. Anyway, so Nina Simone and Nick Kershaw today, 1 p.m. Mountain Time, twitch.tv/Coverville.
Check it out. Also tonight, Core at 5 p.m. We're talking video games. Lots to discuss there. So head on over to Core at 5 p.m. here at the channel, or get the podcast wherever you get it. Also, this Film Sack weekend, we'll be covering Walking Tall. And some of you may say, now, wait a minute, that just disappeared from my streaming list. It is on AMC Plus. It is also available via, someone told me it showed up on Tubi. I haven't confirmed that.
Oh, really? Okay.
That might be the new one, though, with Hercules idiot. What's his name?
Sorbo?
Sorbo. Not sure.
Really?
Anyway.
And you know, listen, sign up for a month of AMC. Watch Walking Tall.
Yeah.
Watch Gangs of London, which is fantastic.
Yep.
Maybe pick up Interview with the Vampire. Kevin Can F Himself. There is a lot of good binge-worthy programming on
Better
on
Call
AMC
Saul if you
Plus.
haven't already watched it.
That's right. Core, by the way, is tomorrow.
Oh, what the hell day is it today? Oh, it's Friday. Shit. I forgot. John's in, John's got a thing. That's why he had to move it. So it's not tonight. It's Friday night. Same time, though, 5 p.m. Sorry, everybody. Screwed that up.
Yeah. I knew that all about Core myself. I did not look at the chat room to find out about Core.
Of course not, because you don't type and say you knew a thing that you didn't know. You don't do it. No, that's actually one of the things I like about Brian. If he doesn't know a thing, he'll tell me. I like that.
Exactly.
I like it. Everybody be like that with me, okay? And I'll try my hardest to be that way with you. If I don't know what's wrong, or if I tell you what's wrong, I'll admit it. It's fine.
That's right.
If I come on here and say, let's say Monica, she likes to watch horror movies and pour pig blood on her while she does it.
Yeah.
That's not true. And if you tell me it's not true, then I will admit it. Okay?
Right. Yeah.
Vermonica.
And yeah, Couch Party is in the AM tomorrow. It'll start an hour later than we usually do TMS. So if you're here live for TMS, just wait an hour past that time on Fridays, and we'll be doing Couch Party in the morning.
Yeah, we're doing that tomorrow morning, so that'll be fun. And what else? Oh, more Dead Space this weekend with me and
cool.
Carter. Oh, actually, yeah, no, that'll still happen. It'll just be before they leave. They're going to Vegas on Sunday.
Yeah.
And they're going to be gone till next Thursday, so I'm going to be like totally bachelorhooding it here.
Oh my gosh, that's a long time to leave you on your own.
I know.
To your own devices.
I know.
Jeez.
Someone's going to need to check on me, make sure I'm not stroked out on the floor somewhere after day 4 or whatever. So just check in on me. Everything will be fine. Anyway, that's all coming up. Don't forget, our entire lifestyle here on TMS is supported by you, the patrons. Patreon.com/TMS is where you can sign up, be in there early in this new month, and you can get all kinds of cool stuff. We mentioned couch parties and play dates, but how about pre-show content every day? How about no commercials ever? How about art in the mail? How about a T level? How about all kinds of cool stuff? Well, go find out more at patreon.com/TMS. That'll do it for us. We got to get out of here, but we cannot do that until we've played a song.
JD in Memphis wrote in and said, "Hey, Boot and Scoot, March 2nd is my 40th birthday, so I thought I'd go big and request my all-time favorite cover."
Brian was very good about waiting.
Let's party!
A little slow on the trigger. I wasn't triggered enough. I had to be
know,
more triggered.
a little more triggering, apparently. Yeah. Maniac by Carpenter Brut. If for some reason that doesn't work, I need 80s vibes and lots of synth. Thanks for all the years of keeping me sane at work. Love you guys and all that you do. Signed, JD.
Nice.
This is a great example of a lyric that kind of, I don't know why it bothers me. It certainly doesn't trigger me. But the song Maniac by Michael Sembello talks about, she's a maniac and when she's on the floor and she's dancing like she never danced before, which, could mean like, oh my God, I've never seen her dance like this. Or it could mean, oh, she looks like someone who is dancing for the first time ever and doesn't know what dancing is. She's dancing like she's never danced before.
It does really have a double meaning I'd never considered until today.
It's like a foreigner and feels like the first time. So it's awkward and incredibly painful, or
Yeah. Wow.
Anyway,
who knows?
Let's get to this. This is Carpenter Brut with a live version of Maniac by Michael Sembello. This comes from their album called, with no spaces, Carpenter Brute Live.
Oh my gosh.
2017.
Fantastic. All right. Check us out for the rest of the week and all that other stuff we mentioned. And we'll be back Monday for a fresh episode of TMS.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network.
Frog Pants Network.
Get more shows like this at frogpants.com.
I don't mean to be rude, but can we talk about it later?
No.
No,
Paul Hogan. Or not Paul Hogan.
Oh, we'll do that on Monday, Monica. You're right. We did.
Yeah, no, it's scheduled. I actually scheduled it for Monday, Monica.
Oh, you
We're
did?
good.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I should have told her that so she knew when to expect it. But yeah, we'll put it up on Mondays.
Sorry, Vermonicole. We'll make sure to get that taken care of for you on Monday.
Nick Vermonicole. I like that.
Vermonicole.
That's even better.
Yeah, it's even better.
Yeah, it's that weird German thing you wear on your eye in the 20s or whatever. Hey, it's time for your titles. Frogpants.showbot.tv is the title place